Hey everyone, welcome into August of 1997. We've made some really big changes here on the farm. I'm very happy with where we're at. It's very exciting how much this farm has grown, expanded, changed, everything. It's been a learning process. It's been absolutely fantastic. So we're down to $38,942. And that's because we spent $250,000 this summer. Honestly, did not plan on spending that much money, but I do believe it was well worth it. So the first thing we did was put up a new silo. Our old silo is getting to the point where I don't think it can produce enough for the amount of cattle that we have and that we're going to have this year. So I don't want to run out of silage for a third time in this series. Twice was bad enough. So I went ahead, spent the money, put up a second silo. It's a little bit bigger, has a little bit bigger capacity than our first one. And between the two, we will never have to worry about running out of silage again. So that is problem number one off the board. Never have to worry. So we're going to go ahead and jump into our feed wagon here. Oh, I guess, yeah, now that we're in the feed wagon, I also had the hoop barn moved over here for our bale storage. Brings it closer to the silos, right where we're always loading the feed wagon. Works out very well. Very happy with it being over here. It is much more convenient. So we'll get swung around here. And you're going to see we expanded our parking lot over here. And we just went ahead and got rid of some of the grass. You can see I got a new bull rack and a new flat deck trailer for the semi here. And by new, I mean new to us. They are both used. The flat deck was super cheap. It was basically ready to go to the scrapyard. I only spent $5,000 on it to purchase it. And then we put another couple thousand in it to get it at least roadworthy enough to carry bales. We won't be ever hauling, equipment with it. So we don't need to worry about, it breaking in half going down the road for that. Like I said, all we're doing is hauling bales with it, but we're at the point now where the gooseneck just wasn't going to get the job done. So I sold the gooseneck since we really don't need it now that we do have this flat deck for the semi-trailer. And I purchased the used bull rack because we're getting to the point where when we sell off our fat cattle, most of the time it's more than what our stock trailer can hold. So I kept the stock trailer it's a lot easier and more convenient to just move cattle from pen to pen with the stock trailer as opposed to getting the bull rack out. But we need to go ahead and get our Herefords fed here. And when we swing back around, we can take a look at the new cattle lot that I put in. Finally got a new cattle lot put in for our yearling Holsteins. Now we're only going to feed half of this wagon load here. They don't need the full thing this month. And the other half will go up to our dairy barn. So we'll do a load and a half up there. And that is all the feeding we need to do for this month. But we'll go ahead and take the long way around here. Now all the cattle that are left in the fat cattle lot here, these will all get sold this month. So we're going to make a little bit of money there. And over here you can see we finally have pigs in our pig barn. Part of the reason we have pigs in our pig barn is slurry is the simple answer. We do not have enough slurry to cover all of our fields, so we're spending money on dry fertilizer every year to compensate for what we're running short on slurry and manure. Well, hopefully this takes care of that. This barn itself won't take care of that, but I also added some more storage capacity to our dairy barn. So hopefully between the two, we can at least get a good chunk of all of our fields covered. I doubt it'll be all of it, but it's better than where we were. So there's 21 head of females in here. There's one boar in here. All of the females are expecting babies in the next few months. And we will sell them, try and make a profit, but I don't think we will. Or at least it's not going to be much of a profit because I am paying the co-op to feed them. We don't have the ability to mix hog feed on this farm. And in 1997, it's $160 a ton for pig feed. I figured that out to be I'm guessing right around $500 a month, at least here starting out, is about what they're going to go through for feed capacity. It might be a little less. Definitely shouldn't be any more, at least not until the babies are born and start growing a little bit. So I don't know how much of a profit we'll actually make off the hogs, but the big thing here is the slurry. That's the important part with these hogs. But honestly, I kind of figured we'd have hogs by now. I really thought we'd have them year one. So I'm very happy to finally have hogs on this farm. Took me way longer than I thought it would. But over here, we can also see our new yearling lot. Now, it took up part of our cornfield, so we did lose a little bit of acres here, not too much. Definitely well worth the amount of farmable acres we lost here was well worth putting this in. So very, very happy with that. And the way we're going to do that lot is once they're weaned, they'll be put in that lot. And once they reach 12 months of age, they'll be moved into the fat cattle lot. So we'll go ahead and get swung around here. Head up into the dairy barn, get this half a load delivered up there. Then we need to do one more full feed truck load, and our dairy barn will be good. And as we're pulling in here, we can take a look back there. You can see our expanded lagoon and our new spreader. So the old spreader, honestly, it was okay, but it always left a gap. And even trying to set up an offset, it was a nightmare. So I went ahead and sold it off. We got that new slurry spreader there, and that is what we will be using going forward. I'm very excited to try that out sometime, later this fall here. So we'll start getting these guys fed, and as you can see, we're up to 156 head up here. So this barn is starting to fill out quite well. Now, we don't have any cattle that need to be moved down to the yearling lot this month, but next month there will be quite a few. So, depending on how many babies are born, the number of head up here might go down slightly next month, and that's okay, because this barn does not hold enough feed to feed these cattle for one month. So we will, at some point here, have to feed twice a day. And, I'm going to have to really focus and make sure I don't miss an evening feeding. Otherwise, our milk production is going to plummet. So we'll go ahead and get one more feed wagon load up here. And I'll catch up to you guys when we are ready to sell off our milk. Oh, and I almost forgot. We sold the 4786 and bought this brand new 9370 quad track. We will be using this for doing all of our deep tillage and pulling our slurry spreader. Very excited to use that. It's a beautiful tractor. Cannot wait to get it out in the field and see, how everything goes with that. And it'll also be hooked up to our grain cart, since we know that the 7250 just doesn't quite have enough to pull it. And also in here is a new lime spreader. So this new lime spreader makes it so that we can spread lime and fertilizer, but it has a much, much bigger capacity than what the co-op had for their cart. And it also means we no longer have to rent that cart from the co-op. So it's nice just having it right here on the farm. Don't have to drive down there every time I need it. And just very happy with all the equipment we have. And I almost forgot. My goodness. We made so many changes, I honestly can't remember them all. So we also picked up a new windrower here. So we've got the Case 8860. The Case 8860 came out in 2000. However, the Case 8830 was available in 1997. It's just a slight difference. After Googling them, they look almost identical. There's not much difference. The header width is the same. So we're rolling with it. But yeah, I can't believe I forgot about that. That's going to make going through our alfalfa field so much faster. It is not quite double the width, but it's pretty close. So you can see our new mower header here. So we'll be able to cover a lot of ground with this. And I do believe, if I set this up correctly, it's going to cut our raking time in half. So that'll be exciting once we get out in the field, see how all that works. But yeah, we, wow. I can't believe I forgot all, you know, some of the most expensive equipment that we purchased this year. So yeah, we'll go ahead and get this last load of feed hauled, and now I'll catch up to you guys when we're ready to sell our milk. All right, we've got 4,080 gallons of milk on, so we'll get this run down to the creamery and adjust the price accordingly. All right, we're getting pulled into the creamery here, so we'll go ahead and get this sold off. And we need to add $800. I was wrong. It's $600. So we're now at $49,806. And August is typically our lowest milk production month. So you can see we're making great profits now with how much our milk cows are producing. So very, very happy with all of that. Well, we'll head back to the home place here. We're going to get those Holsteins sold off first, and then we can go ahead and jump straight into chopping. All right, we got our Holsteins loaded up here. There's 7 of them on the trailer. We'll get these guys run down to the sale barn and adjust our price accordingly. All right, we're down here at the sale barn, so we'll go ahead and get these 7 head sold off here. And we need to take back $11,032. So that puts us at $56,306. So very good profit there. It's always nice making money here in Farming Simulator. And it's really nice, you know, in this 1990 series that we're able to actually turn a profit. It's good to see that, you know, it's working out that way for us. The first couple of years were a bit rough, but I think we finally got it figured out. So we're going to head back to the home place, get the chopper out, get the 7250 ready, and start chopping our silage. We have a lot of loads of silage we need to get chopped this month, so this is going to definitely take a hot minute. Got Grandpa in the chopper. I'm going to be running the 7250. And we're going to aim for about 15 loads of silage this year. That should be more than enough. It's more than what will fit in our original silo. We don't need to necessarily fill our new silo, at least not this year, but moving forward, it's, you know, going to fill up more and more every year. But we'll go ahead and get this silage chopped and see, you know, how many times we go around this field. I'm curious with how big this field has been expanded. You know, how many laps we actually make around this thing. All right, well, a few things have changed here. Dealer called me up, said he had a new chopper for me, and I told him there's no way I could afford a new chopper. But he did agree to let me demo, and we're demoing this Kloss Jaguar 880. Now, the first little bit here was it was a bit rough, to say the least. I'm trying to get this figured out, and our wagon, come to find out, is just not gonna cut it with the chopper this size. Pulling it back and forth with the tractor was taking forever. It was terrible. So called up the neighbor, and they agreed to let me rent this truck from them. So I rented this truck, and well, things are going really well now, other than speed control is a bit of an issue with this truck. It either wants to go 100 mile an hour or not go at all. But it is working very well. Unloading has been an interesting... it's been interesting. Well, I'll just leave it at that. We'll just leave it at that. So, yeah, everything's going well. We finally made it one full pass around the field. We're into our second headland pass here. And our first silo is going to be full in no time. This truck holds 50,000 liters. So that's very, very good. Definitely need that with a bigger header. And it's just that wagon just ain't going to work out. So if I do ultimately decide that we do want to upgrade to this kind of chopper over our old one, I'm going to have to get a truck like this as well. But we're going to go ahead, finish this out. We should be done by noon, I would think, at the latest. This is going pretty fast here. As you can tell, we are now full. So I'll head back, get this unloaded, and we'll keep chopping. So just like the wagon, we do have to get out to unload. And thankfully, there's just enough room between this hillside to and the silos here to get this thing unloaded. But really, all in all, this is honestly a pretty decent system. It took me a minute, took me a couple loads to get it, figured out and, understand what I needed to do here. But all in all, it is working really, really well. So I'll go ahead and get this silo filled, and we'll put a little bit in the other silo, and we'll be done with chopping and ready to start mowing our alfalfa. All right, and with this load, we are officially done with our chopping. Using that silage chopper was absolutely fantastic. Flew through the field. This was a great combination. So this is definitely something I'm going to have to, remember and try and figure out how we can upgrade this way. So I'm going to go ahead and get all of our chopping stuff put away. Get, the tractors and whatnot put away. Then we're going to go ahead and start mowing our alfalfa down next. All right, we've got everything mowed, everything raked, and we're ready to bale. So we'll go ahead and get this thing fired up, get it dropped down. And we've already got the bale counter reset. So last time we got 205 bales. And hopefully we get, maybe another bale or two more. But I'll go ahead and hammer this out and, we'll see how much we end up with when we're done. All right, we are coming up on the end here, and we're sitting right at 200 bales. So we're like 5 bales short from our spring cutting, which is disappointing to say the least. Not really sure what happened. Nope, we are 4 bales short. I stand corrected. But we'll go ahead and get all of these bales picked up here and start spreading some manure on this field once we get them all picked up. That way it is fertilized and ready to go for spring. Hey everyone, welcome into October. Back in August, we went ahead and finished picking up all of our alfalfa bales. Got the manure spread on our alfalfa field, so it is ready for spring. And in September, we got all of our chores done, sold a little bit of milk. As you can see, we're at $58,531. And we also moved some cattle around. Honestly, we moved quite a few cattle around. So we've already got the feed wagon loaded here. So we'll run around and take a look and see what we got done last month. So as we come around here, you can see our Hereford pen. All of the babies are gone. It was finally time to get them all weaned last month, so these guys need half a load. So we'll go ahead and get them half a load and move on to our next pen here. All right, we got them fed. And as you can see, we now have some fat cattle, some fat Holsteins in this lot over here. So we'll go ahead and get these guys topped off. And I do believe we might have a few more that need to get moved over here this month. I've decided at 12 months of age, we'll go ahead and move them out of the yearling pen and move them into the fat cattle pen. And we'll go ahead and jump out here so we can take a look. We have a bunch of new baby pigs. Everybody in here is doing very, very well. They're all very healthy, very happy. And the baby pigs are absolutely adorable. My goodness, they are absolutely tiny. So, one issue I found. This amount of pigs produces way too many baby pigs. When they were born, a whole bunch of pigs were sold off because there wasn't enough room in this barn. Did not realize that was going to be a thing. That was my fault, and I had to do a mad scramble to figure out how much we sold to get our price adjusted, and I'm just going to consider those pigs as pigs that died off, that didn't make it through birth, and make them a zero factor. So we are sitting at the proper income here, but yeah, that was not something I was expecting. But I am very happy to have baby pigs on the farm. We're going to raise them up to about 6 months and get them sold off. So they won't be here for very long, but we can sure enjoy how cute they are while they're here. All right, and this is feed wagon load number 2. And we're going to go ahead and give half of this load to our Herefords over here in our yearling pen for the Herefords, and the other half will go into the yearling pen for the Holsteins. And we'll go ahead and give this other half to the Holsteins here in the yearling pen. And as you can see, there are a couple that are bigger, so we do need to get some cattle moved out of this pen and over into the other pen today. And right across the alleyway here, you can see all of our Herefords that just got weaned last month. Everybody's running around looking very good. They don't look too disappointed to be pulled out of the pen and moved into their own pen here. And the 2 big ones are our 2 bulls. So gosh, I don't think I mentioned it. We did end up purchasing a new bull. I think I completely forgot about that. Yeah, so this summer we ended up buying a heifer bull. That way our heifers could get bred and not be inbred by their own father. So yeah, that I completely forgot about that. My apologies. But we got 2 more feed wagon loads we got to get hauled up to our dairy barn yet. So we'll get those taken care of and take a look at how all of them are doing up there while we're feeding. All right, and we're pulling in here to our dairy barn. We'll go ahead and get these guys fed their 2 loads. This is load number 1. And you can see we're sitting at 184 animals in this barn. Now, I do know there's no animals that need to be moved out of here this month, but there will be a few next month. Well, you can see the barn is filling up inside here. We got a couple new babies in the barn currently. Got a couple sitting outside. And they are absolutely adorable. Love the baby animals in this game. And you can see our pasture is absolutely full of animals. There are so many dairy cows out here. I absolutely cannot believe how far we've come in this series. I honestly had no idea we'd have this many cattle on the farm. I'm very, very happy with where we're at. So we'll go ahead and get our other feed wagon load brought up here, and then we can go ahead and sell our milk next. All right, we've got 6,500 gallons of milk on. So we'll get this run out to the creamery, get it sold, and adjust the price accordingly. All right, we're down here at the creamery, so we'll go ahead and get this milk sold off. And we need to take off $500. So that puts us at $75,949. So we'll head back to the home place. We're going to go ahead and get a couple of those cattle moved, and then I will catch up to you guys when we are ready to start our harvest. All right, so as you can tell, we have officially started our harvest. We're starting in the bean field all the way to the south, and we have our first grain cart load of the 1997 harvest season. I'm very excited about this and cannot wait to, get all of this harvested and get to the point where we can sell it. Selling is by far the most fun part of farming simulator for me, at least. But I got the 7250 hooked up because it is a faster tractor. Now, it struggles a bit pulling up hills in the field, but going down the highway, it is significantly faster, and I do believe it will keep up better, especially in beans, as the combine won't fill up as fast. Now, when we get switched over to corn, I might have to get the four-wheel drive out. Not sure yet. you know, as the home place field especially is pretty hilly, and I just don't think the 7250 will get the job done, especially in corn. But for now, we're going to run this with the 7250 through beans and see how things go. But I'll catch up to you guys here after a bit and see how harvest is progressing. All right, we have officially finished our first field. I've got 10,925 liters on from finishing up that field, and we're now into our second and last bean field for this year, and just getting it opened up. Got both combines rolling. So far, everything has gone absolutely fantastic. No issues, and I'm very happy with where we're at. Now, I do have some plans coming up for when we do get harvest done. But for now, we need to worry about getting harvest done. We've got a lot of work ahead of us here. And yeah, I'm pretty excited for it and very, very ready to have these beans done. Beans are fun. They make a lot of money. But corn is definitely where it's at. Being born and raised in Iowa, corn is king, and there's no change in my mind. All right, we have officially wrapped up our soybean harvest here. We ended up with 303,195 liters of soybeans, and I'm pretty happy with where we're at. Harvest has gone absolutely perfect so far. Both combines are running really, really well, haven't missed a beat. And same with the grain cart and the grain cart tractor. Everything's gone very good. So we're going to go ahead and get switched over to the other bin, get the combine switched over and ready to rock and roll in the corn, and we're going to start our corn harvest as soon as possible. All right, we have officially started our corn harvest. We're starting out here at the home place, knock out this big field, and then we can jump up to home north. And I'm really excited about that field with the major expansion we had on it this year. I absolutely can't wait to see, how many bushels we actually get off that field now. But I'll go ahead and catch up to you guys when we get our first grain cart load and see how far around the field we actually make it. I want to say we only made it like 3/4 of the way around the field last time we combined corn in this field. So I'll be curious to see, how this actually shakes out here. All right, well, we made it about the same distance around the field as we did 2 years ago when we combined corn in this field. So pretty happy with where we're at. I genuinely don't remember how much we actually got off this field in total, but I do know it's going to be a lot. Well, we've officially finished getting the end rows knocked off this field, and we're on grain cart load number 2. So our yield is definitely really, really good. Very happy with that. And this is going to take a hot minute, as always, but the corn harvest is always the most exciting part of the year for me, so I'm okay with it taking a little bit extra time here. All right, it is about 1:40 in the afternoon, and we're getting pretty close to halfway through this field. We've already got 244,825 liters. So we're having one heck of a corn yield this year. And between this field and home north place, I'm expecting us to be somewhere pretty close to, well, let's be optimistic. I'm going to say we're going to get 700,000 liters of corn out of this harvest, which would be honestly insane. So yeah, things are going great. Very, very happy with where we're at. And I will catch up to you guys when we get this field completed. All right, we are finished with the home place field. We ended up with 478,669 liters. Very happy with that. It's a little short of where I wanted. I was really hoping we'd hit 500,000, but I still have faith that we'll get at least 200,000 off of our home north field here. And I've also hired up a worker on the 1586, and they're rolling with the baler. So they're going to get some baling done while we're finishing up our harvest. And yeah, pretty happy with how everything's going. It's nice being able to have this many workers rolling all at once. So I'm going to get up to the north field here and hopefully catch up to the combines before they get filled up, as they are already rolling. But yeah, the goal here is for another, well, at this point, you know, like 225,000 liters. I'm really wanting to hit that 700,000 liter mark for our corn. It'll be the first time we've ever harvested that much corn in one harvest, and very excited to try and get to that point. So I'll catch up to you guys here after a little bit and see how things are coming. All right, we just got our first grain cart load off this field, and I don't even know if we made it 3/4 of the way around. These end rows are crazy long. Now, this field's super narrow, so it's a bit misleading as to, you know, how much corn we're actually going to get off this field. But so far, I'm pretty happy with where it's at, and it'll go pretty quick once the field's split into two, you know, sections, as we have a little bottleneck down here. But so far, pretty happy with where everything's at. Now, the problem is, I'm so far away from the farm at this point, I'll never get caught up, or get back up here, I should say, before the second combine fills up, because it should be pretty close to full already. So we'll go ahead and get this dumped down at the bin site here, and hopefully not, you know, hopefully the combine doesn't have to sit for too terribly long. All right, well, our grain bin is full, so that means the rest of our corn has got to be sold this month. I didn't think that would happen. And apparently my bin does not hold as much grain as I thought it would, so that's, you know, kind of an issue. But we're definitely over the 700,000 liter mark. That grain bin holds 690,000, and we've got a full trailer load here. Plus, we're not done combining yet, so I'm guessing it's going to be like a 1.5 trailer loads here that we're going to have to get sold. So we're going to run this down to the co-op quick before they close and get this sold off. We got about 4 minutes to get down there, so we need to kick it in gear, but we'll go ahead and get this sold off, get back, and finish up our harvest. All right, we made it into the co-op with 1 minute to spare, so we'll go ahead and get this trailer load sold off here, and we will adjust the price accordingly. And we need to take $10,510 off. So that puts us at $72,987. And like I said, well, I'm assuming it won't be a full trailer load. I'm pretty sure it'll be a partial, so we'll get back, and I'm sure by now the combines are full and not running, so we need to get back and get them going as soon as possible. Try and get this field finished up and get our harvest finished for the year. All right, our harvest is officially finished, and we ended up with 959 bushels on this truck, so about 3/4, maybe a little more than 3/4 of a truckload that we got to get sold off next month. The co-op is closed, so we can't make it down there today. But we've got a very busy month ahead of us next month, and we got a lot of maintenance we got to get done tonight yet. So I'm going to go ahead and get everything cleaned up, maintenance up, and I will see you guys in November. Hey everyone, welcome into November. We have a very busy month ahead of us here. We've got baling we need to get done, fertilizing we need to get done, some fall tillage we need to get done, and as always, chores. So we're starting out with our chores, and we've got 3 loads of feed we need to get hauled here this month, and some milk we need to get sold, and corn. I almost forgot that, yeah, we still have some leftover corn that we got to get sold. So we'll go ahead and get all of these cows fed here, and then move on to selling our milk, get our corn sold, and then we can start into the baling. All right, we've got 8,108 gallons of milk on. So we'll get this run to the creamery, get it sold off, and adjust the price accordingly. All right, we're down here at the creamery, so we'll go ahead and get this milk sold off. And we need to add $1,060. All right, so that brings us to $82,260. Absolutely fantastic. We are really, really starting to make a lot of money with our milk, and it's, absolutely fantastic that we're able to do that. So we've still got plenty we need to get done yet this month, so we're going to head back to the home place. I'm going to go ahead and get the semi hooked up to the hopper. We'll get that one load of corn sold, and hopefully Grandpa's back at the farm by now, this morning here, and we can get him spreading some slurry out on our bean ground. All right, well, Grandpa hasn't shown up to the farm yet. Not a surprise, it is a little early in the morning for him. But in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and get this corn sold off, and we're not going to take it to the elevator today. The neighbor called. They asked if I had some corn to sell, and I told them I just happened to have a not quite a full trailer load, and they offered $3 a bushel for it. So we're taking it to them because the co-op is only paying $2.45 a bushel at the moment. So we'll see if I can get pulled in their driveway without, destroying my semi here. And they're just down the road from us. As you can see, this alfalfa field on our left is our alfalfa field. This is the one that we just expanded this last year, so they're nice and close, and I'm very happy that they want to buy some corn from us. All right, so we need to take $11,526 off. So that puts us at $85,138. Not too bad. Definitely a little disappointed in the current corn price, but hopefully here, in the future, we can get a little better price. Maybe see what, what comes of this spring anyway. All right, well, we went ahead and combined the two bean fields into one. So that is going to be one gigantic field, and see if I can catch up to him here. I got Grandpa rolling out in the field, spreading some lime here. And we're going to go ahead and bale. Well, we'll jump up into the menu here, and you can see I extended the end row a little bit on field 2425, and we went ahead and combined all four of those fields into one big field here. So that is definitely a gigantic field now. Originally, I kept them separate because I didn't know if I'd want to have different crops in them, so kept them separate. But at the way the farm is working out, that's not what is happening. So there's no point in having, that little grass strip in the middle if we're not going to use it. Or if, there's really no point to it. We just will plant in it and make some money. So that's what I did. Grandpa's spreading lime in it right now. We've got to spread lime in those two fields this year. Don't need to down here in the home place or home north. So we'll get that lime taken care of, then we can get the slurry taken care of, and then we can start cultivating. And that cultivating is definitely going to take a hot minute. That is for certain. And so is this baling. This is definitely going to take a while. So we'll go ahead and knock these out, and I'll catch up to you guys here a little bit later on in the day and see, how things are progressing here. All right, we got all of the lime spread, all of the bales picked up, and we ended up with 300 stock bales. That's insane. Didn't think I'd end up with that many, but I'm very happy with how many we did get. That's going to be, a heck of an income this winter. Now I've got the four-wheel drive on the slurry spreader here, and this is doing a significantly better job than the old one did. So I'm very happy with that. Got a worker hired up in the 7250 spreading manure. And I've got another worker hired up in the 1586, and they're running the small cultivator in the bean stubble, as you can see up ahead here. So things are trucking right along for us here this fall. Now, not sure how far, for this manure and slurry is going to get us. I don't know that we're going to get this field, the bean stubble field, done with the manure. It's just a really big field. So I think we got maybe one more spreader cart load of manure left, and that'll probably be about it. So I'll finish up that field with a slurry once I see how far he gets. And we'll run slurry as far as we can and cover the rest with solid fertilizer. But so far, everything is going quite well. I'm very happy with where we're at. I just wish I had a bigger cultivator, so that's something I need to look into, see if, maybe the dealership has something a little bigger so we can cover a little bit more ground a little bit faster. And, we have this nice new quad track here, so we have plenty of power to pull something, pretty significantly bigger than what we currently have. But we're going to go ahead and finish getting as much manure and slurry spread as we can here, and I'll catch up to you guys when we run out. All right, we have officially run out of both manure and slurry. We ended up getting all of the home place field done, and I'd probably call it close to half at least for this home north. So very happy with how far we got. Didn't think we'd get this far, but it went a lot farther than I thought it would. So we got a little bit of dry fertilizer we got to spread here to get our nitrogen on the ground for this field. And I've got both the 1586 and the 7250 running the cultivators right now and getting fields cultivated. So we're getting very close to being completed here. Pretty happy with, how everything has gone. And we'll go ahead and finish this up. And I will see you guys probably in December when we're ready to sell off our hay bales and corn stalk bales. Hey everyone, welcome into December. We've got a lot of cattle to get fed this morning. We got 4 loads of feed we got to get hauled here. We got some milk to sell off, and by some I mean a lot. I don't even know if it'll all fit on one trailer. And we have a crazy amount of bales to get sold this month. So we should be making plenty of money, and it's always exciting for, making money. So we'll go ahead, hammer out these chores quick, and I'll catch up to you guys when we are ready to sell off the milk. All right, we've got 8,443 gallons of milk on, and that is a full trailer, and we still have some milk in the barn. So we will end up having to make 2 trips here this month, and that's absolutely fantastic. So we'll go ahead, get this load run into the creamery, get it sold off, and adjust the price accordingly. All right, we're down here at the creamery, so we'll go ahead and get this milk sold off. And we need to take off $325. So that puts us at $67,792. We are really, really starting to make a killing with our milk, and this is absolutely fantastic. So we'll run back to the farm, reload with our last little bit of milk, and get it hauled back in here and adjust price accordingly again. All right, we've got another 484 gallons on. So we'll run back and get this sold at the creamery as well. All right, we'll go ahead and get this last 484 gallons sold off. And that is dead on. It's within $2, so I'm not going to worry about it. So that puts us at $69,080. So we're done selling off our milk. Now we can run back to the home place, get this milk trailer dropped, pick up the flatbed, get loaded with some hay bales, and start selling off our hay. All right, we've got our first trailer load of hay bales here, and we're going to go ahead and get these sold off. Now, I'm not going to sell off all of our hay bales, as we do have a lot of feeding we do for our cattle. And I'm going to go ahead and save about 100 bales just to be sure that we can make it through the winter and through the early spring here. So that being said, probably going to have to look into expanding some more alfalfa ground yet. If we want to keep being able to sell hay bales, we're definitely going to need more ground. All right, we are down here at the bale sale, and we'll go ahead and get these bales sold off. All right, we need to take $8,502 off. So that puts us at $77,606. So we'll make this trip a few more times, and I will catch up to you guys on our last trailer load. All right, we're down here at the bale sale with our last trailer load. We've got 31 bales on, so we'll go ahead and get these guys sold off. And we need to take off $6,293. So that puts us at $118,190 after getting all of our hay sold off. Or, well, all the bales that we were going to sell anyway. We've still got 100. I went ahead and did save 100 bales just to be sure. So we'll head back to the home place, start loading up with stock bales. And we have 270 of those to sell. I'm going to hold on to 15 of them. And we used 15 already to bed all of our cattle pens and the dairy barn. So that leaves us with 270 out of the 300 that we baled earlier this fall. All right, well, I've decided I'm going to go ahead and sell all of our soybeans this month. I want to go to the bank later today and try and take out a loan. I've got some really, really big plans that I'm hoping I can pull off here, but we need as much money in the bank account as we can possibly get right now before I go to the bank. So we're going to go ahead and sell off all of our soybeans. The price is not looking great next spring for soybeans, so I do believe now is definitely the time to get them sold. So we'll go ahead and get all of our soybeans sold off. We've got a lot to sell today. And see how much we end up making here. It should be quite a bit. Definitely not as much as we have in the past. Unfortunately, crop prices are down all the way across the board. But we're currently sitting at $145,281. And I'd really like to get somewhere around that $200,000 range if possible. But I don't know if that's possible because we're selling our beans at $6.85 a bushel right now. All right, we're getting pulled in here to the co-op, so we'll go ahead and get these beans sold off and adjust the price accordingly. And we need to take off $33,283. So that puts us at $153,193. So we've got, probably 10, 12 trailer loads here. So we'll go ahead and get all these hauled, and I'll catch up to you guys on the last one to see where we're sitting at with our bank account here. All right, we're pulling into the co-op here with our last little bit of soybeans. We've got 519 bushels on. So we'll go ahead and get these sold off and adjust the price accordingly. And we need to take $14,910 off. So that brings us to the grand total of $204,105. So I'm very happy with where we're at. I wanted to be over that $200,000 mark, and we're over it by just a little bit. So I'm going to take this back to the home place and run into the town, talk to the banker, and see what we can do about doing some financing here. Hey everyone, welcome into March of 1998. Man, is time flying by. I cannot believe we're already into the spring of 1998, and our farm is exploding. We are growing faster than ever, and I'm very, very excited about it. So we've got 3 loads of feed we got to get hauled here. We got milk we got to get sold. We're going to sell some corn this month. And as you can probably tell, we're at $946,388. Well, I went to the bank in December, worked out a deal. We took out a almost $8 million loan. I paid off my previous mortgage, and that left us with just over $1 million. So I've already spent some. We've bought a bunch of land this year already. I bought a new tractor and planter, and we're far from over with our purchases this year. A good majority of this $900,000 is going to be spent coming up here in the next few months and over the summer. So this farm is going to change pretty drastically. I'm very excited for it. I can't wait to get, to that point. But first, as always, we have to get our chores done. So I will catch up to you guys here when we get our chores finished. And we can take a quick little look around the farm and see what small changes have happened here. All right, so one of our changes here on the farm, which there honestly haven't been many, not yet anyway, but we have a whole bunch of new baby Hereford calves in here. Some are a month old, some are born this month, and we've got a couple more to be born yet. But everybody is happy, healthy, and doing absolutely fantastic. The babies look absolutely adorable. They are very, very cute, and I'm super happy with where we're at. Now, as you can see, we have quite a few big cattle in our fat cattle lot, as, you know, to be expected. And we will be selling some of these guys off today. Honestly, I'm not even sure how many we have to sell. But we're also going to be selling off all of our pigs. Now, this wasn't originally a part of the plan, but we've got some pigs that are ready to sell, and I've got a new plan moving forward here. So we're going to go ahead and sell off all of these pigs because this barn is coming down. And part of the reason we're selling off our corn is both of these bins are going to get taken down as well. So there's definitely some really, really big changes coming to the farm, and I'm very excited about it. And over here, you can see our yearling pen is quite full. There's a lot of yearlings over here, and we've got quite a few more over the next few months that are going to be moved into here. So, you know, this is working out absolutely fantastic. And all of our Herefords in the fat cattle pen here are looking terrific. They're not quite ready to be sold yet, but they are getting closer. So we've got a lot of things to get done yet this month. I've already moved all the cattle that need to be moved. We had one yearling that needed to be moved into the fat cattle pen for the Holsteins. And we had 8 calves that were ready to come out of the dairy barn. So we'll run up to the dairy barn, grab the semi, and sell off our milk next. And then we can move into selling some corn, and we'll finish off by selling our cattle this month. All right, we've got 7,513 gallons of milk on. So we'll get this run down to the creamery and adjust the price accordingly. So as we make the turn here at the intersection, this field right across the road from us is one of our new fields. We got this purchased this winter and we take control of it this month. And I'm very, very excited about how much we're expanding this year. And that is not the only field that we have. We'll drive down the road a little ways here, and I'll show you guys the other fields that we picked up. All right, so down here you can see this is our field right there. That is our home north field. And right across the road here was an old abandoned construction site. Now, I started tearing down all the buildings this winter, but as you can see, there's still a lot of cleanup that needs to be done here. And behind us is some kind of maple syrup thing. We do not own that. We only own this front part here. Now, we do have to leave the driveway there as a right-of-way, but I plan on putting up a couple hog barns here. So this will not be turned into arable farm ground, but it will be a hog site for us, and I'm very excited about it. Really, really hoping this works out. Otherwise, we're going to end up bankrupt. But we also purchased the field right next to it. That first field we bought was a little over 54 acres. This field here is 30 some acres. And we own this, and it wraps right around the gas station here. And the field next to it on the other side of the gas station, we also purchased this winter. So this is huge. A lot of acres here. And for now, the plan is to turn this into crop ground. And I believe I'm going to go ahead and turn the home north field into an alfalfa field. We need more alfalfa to mow down for hay. And it'll keep that close to home. You know, we don't have to travel too far to mow our alfalfa. But that's my plan moving forward. I'm really hoping this all works out. And yeah, it's exciting. We've expanded well over 100 acres this year. So I think we're up, so what are we, like 350 acres now? So yeah, very, very big expansion for this year. And I'm just very excited with where we're at here. All right, we're finally getting pulled into the creamery, so we'll go ahead and get this milk sold off. And we need to pull back $500. So that puts us at $966,377. So we're going to run back to the home place here, get the milk trailer dropped, hook back up to our hopper, and start selling off our corn next. All right, we're getting pulled into the co-op here, and I think I got overly excited and completely forgot to tell you guys how much we spent on the land. So the land was $1,730 an acre this year, and with the amount of land we bought, it was just shy of $200,000. It was $197,000 and change. So that was a good chunk of change there. Now we're ready to go ahead and get our corn sold, so we'll get this sold and adjust the price accordingly. And we need to take back $23,466. So that puts us at $969,231. Now we've got a crazy amount of trips to make here. I honestly have no idea, but that is the first load out of a completely full bin. So I will catch up to you guys on the last load. And oh, I guess I completely forgot to mention, we're selling corn at $2.47 a bushel right now. So corn price is down quite a bit, but right now it's enough to make a profit. And I also need that bin empty for what we're going to do this summer. So kind of got to sell it off regardless. Pulled in here to the co-op with our last 275 bushels. So we'll go ahead and get this sold off. Now we had 16 full loads and this little partial. So we'll go ahead and get this sold off and adjust the price accordingly. And we need to take $5,630 off. So that puts us at $1,012,571. So we're done selling all of our grain for the year, and we will head back to the home place here, drop the hopper off, and hook up to the bull rack, and we're going to start hauling cattle and hogs. Got 18 head of our Holsteins on the trailer here. We'll go ahead and get them sold off, and we're selling them for $64.40 per hundredweight. All right, we need to take $32,338 off. So that puts us at $1,029,960. So we'll head back to the home place here to load up all of our hogs, and we'll go ahead and get them sold off next. All right, we're back down here at the sale barn. We're going to go ahead and get these 60 head sold off and adjust the price accordingly. All right, we need to take $60,256 off. All right, so that brings us to $1,034,954. So that is everything we have to sell this month. I'm very happy with where we're at. This is definitely by far our biggest cattle sale. And while the hog sale wasn't terrific, you know, it was only 60 head. So moving forward with the hogs, those sales should be significantly better moving forward. All right, I went ahead and picked up this ripper here. It's Case IH ripper, and we're going to use it to extend this field and, well, not really extend, but to combine these two fields here. So we'll go ahead and get this dropped down. And this is definitely not the tool you would normally use for something like this. But since this works as a plow, this is what we're going to be using. So we'll do a little something like that. Make a second pass. Now, unfortunately, we can't get any closer to the gas station without buying the gas station, and I don't really feel like owning a gas station, so we're just going to take what field we have here and take advantage of it. It's going to be, you know, a significant amount of acres, although the extra couple passes down here would be really nice to have. It's not the end of the world by any means. So we'll go ahead and get all of this plowed up and, or ripped up, I guess, however you want to say it, and get ready for this field to be planted here next month. All right, we got this field all combined in together, and we even added a little on the back end there for a couple more end rows. So I'm pretty happy with where we're at. Not super thrilled about how my corner turned out over there, but you know, you win some, you lose some. So we're going to head back. I need to grab the lime spreader. We need to spread some lime on the, and fertilizer, both on what we just tilled up. And I also need to grab the cultivator and get that all cultivated up. And that will be it. Yeah, that'll be it for the month of March here. So I will catch up to you guys in April when we're ready to get everything planted. Hey everyone, well, welcome into April. As always, we're going to start out getting our chores done. We've got quite a few loads of feed we got to get hauled here. We did end up having the last couple of Hereford cows went ahead and gave birth, so we're done calving with the Herefords. We're never done calving with our Holsteins. They calve year round, but very exciting. All of them are doing very well. They're very healthy. So we'll go ahead and get our chores done, get our milk sold, and then it's into planting season. And I didn't even show you guys the new tractor and planter last month, so that'll be something new for you guys to see. But we'll get through these chores as fast as we can. That way we can get straight into planting, because we have a crazy amount of planting to get done here. All right, we've got 6,155 gallons on. So we'll get this run down to the creamery and get it sold off and adjust the price accordingly. And as you can tell on the right side here, we did end up getting our alfalfa planted last month. I almost completely forgot about it. So pretty happy that we did end up getting it put in. Everything is growing very, very well. And yeah, that's going to add a whole lot of alfalfa bales this year, which is absolutely fantastic. But for now, we need to worry about getting this milk sold so we can get into the fields and plant our corn and soybeans. All right, we're down here at the creamery, so we'll go ahead and get this milk sold off. And we need to take $120 off. All right, so that puts us at $835,954, which is quite a bit less than where we were last month. And that's because we got some stuff accomplished, aside from getting our alfalfa planted. So we're going to take the long way around here. We ended up getting our field extended. You guys saw that. And I ended up getting our construction site cleaned up as well. Or the old construction site, I should say. So our field here on the left, that'll be planted to beans this year. Right on around the gas station. And just past the gas station, coming up on the left, you'll see we did get one of our hog barns put up. Got everything cleaned up over here. Got all the dirt work done. Everything's leveled off and looking good. And we got our hog barns put up. We've got 104 head in here. I don't know. Honestly, I have no idea if we can even go in. Let's try. All right. So this is the inside of our hog barn here. Kind of hard to get a good visual. If I jump the gate, maybe. Apparently there's no collisions for the animals on the gates. That's awesome. But this is our new, brand new sow unit. This is where our baby pigs will be born. So we still need to get our other barn set up here. So hopefully get that done here in the next couple of months. But so far, everything's going really well. They have plenty of food, and that food is going to cost us a good chunk of change. Right now it's costing us about $500 a month, and I'm assuming that the pigs, once they have their babies, will go through a little bit more feed, and that'll probably bump up, you know, probably closer to $700-800 a month. So that's something we're, you know, gonna have to be conscious of, because we're not making feed, we are purchasing it from the co-op. But we'll head back to the home place here, get this thing parked, and it'll be time to get our planters out. All right, I got our other planter rolling back at the home place, putting corn on, and I figured I'd start over here with our new tractor and planter, putting our beans in. As you can see, there's a lot of row units, and that's because this is a 31 row unit planter. It's the same width as our corn planter, but it's got extra rows for planting 15-inch beans. So we've got the 8950 here. Big time upgrade over the 7250. And yeah, I'm very excited to go ahead and get in this field and get to planting here. So let's go ahead and jump in, get backed up, and see how this goes. If I can get straight with the edge of the field here. There we go, that's a lot better. So a lot more row units to have to keep an eye on here, but I do believe this is going to be well worth it in the end. So we're going to drop down, and oh, that's disappointing. It leaves the same planting pass, or the same planting marks. But on the bright side, this planter is a direct drill. Direct drilling was starting to come around in the late 90s. It was becoming more popular. It was something that was available even in the early 90s, but it was, you know, it took about a decade before it really started to catch on. And it took about another decade after that before it really caught on and people were actually doing it. So we don't need to cultivate anymore, which is fantastic. That's going to save us a whole lot of time in the fall. And yeah, so far everything is going great. We're rocking at 11 mile an hour. And that means this field will get done in a hurry. So I'll catch up to you guys here in a bit and check in to see how things are going. Hopefully everything's going as well as it's starting out. All right, we got our first bean field planted, and that field must be bigger than I really thought it was, because that took 1.5 planter fills. So yeah, I know soybeans go through a lot more seed than corn does, but that seems like an awful lot for, I don't know, what is it, like 50 acres or something like that? So interesting. Well, anywho, we'll move on to our next bean field, get it going here. And this will be our first time planting in this field as well. So very exciting. You know, we've definitely expanded a lot this year, and I can't wait for harvest. I got a feeling we're going to make a boatload of money. At least I hope we will anyway. So we'll go ahead, get down here. It's just down around the end here, and yeah. Honestly, I don't know that I've ever, even back in FS22, I don't think I ever planted this field or harvested it or anything. I think I only ever drove by it. So I do believe this will be the first time I've ever been in this field. All right, we are ready to plant. So we'll go ahead and get this thing fired up, get it dropped down, and we can start planting beans in this field. Now, I can tell you for sure that we're going to run short on seed. That first field took way more seed than I thought it would. So that's something, you know, we'll have to take care of here at some point, but, you know, not a big deal by any means. We have plenty of money. All right, we're coming up to the end here, getting our soybeans finished up, and this is the fastest I've ever got our planting done before. We're not done with corn yet, but we are officially done with our soybeans. So that is absolutely fantastic. That went way faster than I expected. Having two planters on the farm is an absolutely wonderful thing. So I'm going to go ahead and get this taken back to the home place here. We've already started spraying as well. So that field should be done. I guess we started spraying in the first soybean field that I planted, and that should be done here relatively quick. They should be getting very close to being done, so they can move into this field, and we'll just slowly work them back to the home place. And yeah, things are going absolutely fantastic. We have we have the home place field here to get planted into corn yet, and then we will be done planting. So we should be done, honestly, by probably 1 o'clock, 1:30. And our spraying will probably be done somewhere around 3 o'clock is my guess. Not really sure. But yeah, so far this spring is going very, very well. So I'm going to go head back, like I said, head back to the home place, get this all cleaned up, get it put away, and check in on the other planter and see how things are coming there. But so far, everything is going absolutely perfect. All right, we are coming up on the very end of our planting season for the year of 1998. This is very exciting. Having two planters, holy cow. Holy cow, having two planters made all the difference in the world. We did have to spend another $2,000 on seed. Not the end of the world by any means. But yeah, that's crazy how fast we got done planting. So we've got two of our fields are also finished being sprayed with herbicide. So we've only got two fields left. Now, granted, they are two of the bigger fields, but yeah, we're going to be done, like done in no time here. So I'm going to go ahead and get this planter and tractor all cleaned up. And another thing is, I can't believe I've got 72 hours, almost 73 hours on this tractor already. That is crazy. But we'll go ahead and get all of this maintenance up. Spent $3,000 on just getting the tractor maintenance. That's crazy. Yeah, start getting a lot of hours on machinery and the maintenance cost skyrockets. But we'll go ahead and get all of this cleaned up, put away, get our sprayer moved. And once we're done spraying, that will be it for the month of April. So I will see you guys in May when we're ready to start baling our, or I guess should say start mowing and baling our alfalfa here. Hey everyone, welcome into May. We're down to $148,597. We spent close to $1 million, and I think it was worth every penny. So we made some pretty big upgrades to the farm, upgraded a lot of equipment, got our other hog barn built, and I'm going to give you guys a quick little tour to show you what has changed. Now, as far as the two Quonsets go, not much has changed other than what's in them. So in this Quonset here, this is nothing but hay equipment. We've got our mower, baler, rake, and our sprayers in here because I really didn't have anywhere else to put it. We've got plenty of bale wrap to get us through this year. So that's all that's in that Quonset. Now over here in this one, not a whole lot in this Quonset either. We just have our two planters and our lime spreader. So nothing too major going on over here. Now we'll run around the corner here and you'll see one of our first major changes here. And we've got a new lean-to style shed here. And you can see there's some new equipment sitting in it. So we've got our feed wagon, of course. And I picked up this rebuilt C70 Chevy. And it's in great working order. I'm very, very happy to have it on hand. It looks absolutely fantastic with that white cab and the red box. Now you can see we've got a bunch of new headers here as well. So we've got two new 12-row corn headers here. And we've got two new 35-foot bean headers. And those are going to go along with what's in the shed behind this lean-to. I guess it's not really a lean-to. I don't even know what you'd actually call that style shed, but it's an open shed. So in here, we also have a new grain cart. We've got the Kinsey 1050. I'm very, very excited to have this on the farm. It's a little bit bigger, you know, about 200 bushel bigger than our last grain cart. And we've got two brand new Case 2388 combines. Very excited to have these on the farm. So they were first available in 1998. And they did come with up to a 12-row corn head and up to a 35-foot bean head. So this is going to work out fantastic. It's going to make harvesting go a little bit faster. Now, I say faster kind of half jokingly because we've expanded so much farm ground at this point. Even with them running faster and covering more ground, and each combine holds a little more in its grain tank, we have so much ground to cover. I'm sure harvest is probably still going to take longer than it did last year. But that's okay. And after doing our demo last year, I got a fantastic deal on this Kloss Jaguar. It's a 900, and it's got a nice big chopper head on it, 6 meters wide. And I can't wait to get in the field with this one. And we'll use that C70 Chevy. That's basically its whole reason for existing on this farm, is for chopping silage. And over here is our good old 1586. Got it parked in the shed. It's finally completely undercover. Well deserved. It's been a workhorse on this farm. Same with our loader tractor. We got our 7250, our 8950, and our 9370 also in this shed. So we put up this new shed, got some new equipment. I'm really, really happy with where everything's at here. And over here, you can see there's one new trailer. And we have this hog feed trailer. Using this to feed our hogs, I can hook up to it, run it down to the feed mill, and pick up our own feed. Saves us a little bit of money. Got this trailer. It's well used. Co-op really doesn't want to use it, so I offered a ridiculous $5,000 for it, just kind of jokingly, and they accepted. So I'm very happy with that. Now it is very slow, and yeah, if I was running a feed mill, would not want this trailer whatsoever, but since we're only using it to feed our own hogs, it works out fantastic. And I really didn't have anywhere else to put all of our trailers, so they're just kind of sitting here in a row in our parking lot. And I think this is working out fantastic. So all of our calves over here for our Herefords are doing fantastic. Everybody's very, very healthy. See, our fat cattle pen's got a few head in here. There's going to be a couple more being moved over this month. And this is our biggest expense this year. This was $400,000 of the almost $1 million that we spent is this grain facility here. So I'm very, very happy with this. It's going to serve us quite well in the upcoming years here. So now we can go ahead and jump into doing our chores. Go ahead and get all of our cattle fed here, and I will catch up to you when we get those chores done. All right, we've got 6,056 gallons of milk on, so we'll get this run down to the creamery, get it sold off, and adjust the price accordingly. All right, we're pulling in at the creamery here, so we'll go ahead and get this milk sold off. And we need to add $650. So that gets us to $164,647. I'm very happy with that. It's Always fantastic being able to sell our milk and make that kind of a profit here. So we're going to get back to the home place and start mowing our alfalfa right away, as we do have rain coming in this afternoon. So we need to try and get all of our alfalfa mowed, raked, and baled before 1 o'clock. Not sure if that's going to happen, as it's, almost 9 o'clock already, but we're certainly going to try. All right, we're up here in our alfalfa field by our dairy barn here. We'll go ahead, get this field knocked out, and then we'll switch over to the home north field that is now an alfalfa field, and try and get it all taken care of as well yet today before that rain hits. So I'm going to run a few headland passes here, just because, I do enjoy getting to run the equipment once in a while, so I haven't done a whole lot of mowing myself. Usually been hiring somebody up to do that for me, so I'm at least going to take this opportunity to knock out the headlands myself and enjoy a little bit of mowing here. Okay, we finished up with our first alfalfa field, and we ended up with 199 bales. Now, it's bright and sunny right now, but last time I checked, it was supposed to start raining at like 1 o'clock today. So, not sure if we're still getting rain. If we are, definitely not going to have this field done by 1 o'clock. That is for certain. But we're going to go ahead and get baled up, get as much of this alfalfa baled up as we can before the rain hits. And this will not be a full yield, as it's only been 2 months since we planted the alfalfa. So our next cutting in the fall should produce quite a few more bales than what we're going to get this time. But either way, it's still going to be a crazy amount of bales here. Just not as crazy as what it'll be in August when we do our final cutting for the year. So I will hammer this out. Hopefully we get done before the rain hits. Maybe it'll hold off long enough, but I doubt it. So I'll catch up to you guys when either we finish or the rain starts. Well, we didn't quite make it halfway around the field getting our headland done, or first round around the field anyway, and it began raining. So since we're on this side of the field and we're so close to our hog barn, I figured I'd show you guys our new hog barn. Now, we don't have any pigs in here yet. We're waiting for them to be born, and for some reason that I've yet to figure out, we cannot get into the barn through the door on the front end of the barn. We can only go through this door. I genuinely have no idea why. Now, this is a pretty accurate representation of what a hog barn would look like today, but I do know there were a few of them, at least in the late 90s and early 2000s, that were starting to become this way in this, as in this design. So nice big pens, multiple feeders. I am kind of disappointed that there's no water lines in here, though. But nevertheless, this is our brand new hog confinement here, and I'm pretty excited about how this works. Now, I am baffled as to why we can't go through the other door. So anytime we come over here to look at the hogs, we will have to come into the back door for some reason, and I have no idea why. So we're going to go ahead and wait for this rain to stop, and as soon as it's over, we'll get back to baling. All right, well, it is almost 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and it has finally stopped raining, so we are able to get back into the field here and get back to baling. Now, this is definitely not how it works in real life. We would 100% have to mow again, or not mow, but rake again after a few days of it drying out. But thankfully, Farming Simulator, as soon as the rain stops, we can get right back into it and not lose any of our yield. All right, we are finally coming up to the end of getting all of our alfalfa baled here, and we're at 335 bales. That's a crazy amount of bales for one cutting, and it's going to be even more in the fall. So this was probably 75-80% yield here. So yeah, we're definitely going to be getting significantly more bales in the fall, but we're going to go ahead, get all of these bales picked up, get manure spread across both of our alfalfa fields, and that will be it for the month of May. Hey everyone, welcome into August of 1998. We got a big busy month ahead of us here. We got a lot of chopping to do, a lot of alfalfa to get mowed, and of course, as always, chores. So we're going to start out getting our chores done. We've got 5 loads of feed we got to get hauled to all of our cattle. We need to haul a little bit of feed to our pigs, and we have new baby pigs that were born last month. So very excited about that. They're not going to be ready to be moved yet. We got another month before they can be moved into the big barn. But yeah, everything's very exciting here. And as you can see, we have 209 head of cattle up here at our dairy barn. This is, yeah, definitely more cattle than I ever thought we'd have in this series. And I'm very excited for it. It's awesome seeing this pen this filled up. And yeah, this is absolutely fantastic. So we'll go ahead and get all of our chores done, get our milk sold. And then we need to get into doing some chopping. And also we need to get our alfalfa mowed. So plenty of work for us to get done this month. We don't have any animals to sell yet, but we will have animals to sell next month. So I'm going to go ahead and hammer out these chores, and I'll catch up to you guys when we're ready to get our milk sold. All right, we've got 5,965 gallons on. So we'll run this down to the creamery, get it sold off, and adjust the price accordingly. All right, we're down here at the creamery, so we'll go ahead and get this milk sold off. And we need to add $400. So that brings us up to $147,438. And I was wrong. I do have some cattle that need to be sold this month. So we're going to head back to the home place and hook up to the stock trailer and get a few of the Holsteins loaded up so we can get them sold off this month. All right, we've got 6 head loaded up here on the trailer. We'll get these guys run down to the sale barn, get them sold off, and adjust our price accordingly. All right, we're down here at the sale barn, so we'll go ahead and get these 6 head sold off. All right, and we need to take $13,486 off. So that brings us to $152,605. Not too bad for, only 6 head. So now it's time to head back to the home place, and we need to get ready to start chopping. We got a lot of silage we need to get chopped this month. So we're going to get to it, and we also have baling to do, so we've got a very, very busy month ahead of us yet. All right, we are ready to start chopping. Got everything set up, and I even have a worker in our swather mowing down our alfalfa, so we're going to hammer out a whole bunch of work here really, really fast. And I'm definitely very, very excited for it here. This new chopper is definitely going to make this go significantly quicker than we've ever done chopping before, and I'm very excited for that. Now we need to have a whole lot of chopping we got to get done. We went through almost every bit of our silage from that we chopped last year, so that means we're going to need to chop even more this year. So pretty excited for it though. We've got a lot of corn acres, so even after doing all of this chopping that we're going to do, we'll still have plenty of corn to harvest and sell off as grain this year. So I'll go ahead, hammer out a few of these loads, and I'll catch up to you guys here in a little bit. All right, this is our 4th truckload of chaff that we're getting hauled over here into our silo, and things are going very well. We haven't even made it one pass around the field yet. This is going extremely fast compared to previous years. We're covering way more ground, and we're not going to be making as many passes around the field as we have in the past, just because of how big the header is and how much ground that new chopper actually covers. So this is fantastic. It's 9:30 in the morning. We're going to be done chopping silage by probably 11, if not a little earlier. So I'm very, very happy with this. And up here, you can see making pretty good progress in our alfalfa field. So got a few more passes left to go up there, and that field will be done, and we can move them into the next field. So yeah, all in all, this morning is going absolutely fantastic, and I'm just very happy with the state of the farm and how everything is going. So I will catch up to you guys here in a little bit. All right, well, things are trucking right along. Our worker is done in the first alfalfa field, just got them moved over into the second one, and we're trucking right along with our chopping here. We've got a few more loads to go. I honestly kind of lost count of where we're at. But just like last year, we're going to fill our small silo. And this year, I'm going to put 2, maybe 3 loads into our second silo. And that should be more than enough to get us through one more year at least. And yeah, next year, we're going to chop even more. So things are going quite well. I'm happy with where we're at. As long as I can get turned around without destroying my corn here. There we go. So yeah, everything is going like really, really well this year. It's crazy how bumping up size and equipment not only, you know, speeds things up, but honestly, I seem to be avoiding a lot of problems and issues that I used to have because the equipment was small and, amazingly enough, kind of harder to maneuver around the fields. So yeah, all in all, things are going very, very well here. So I'll I'll check back in with you guys when we get our chopping done here. All right, and with this last load, we are officially done chopping our silage. Things went really, really well. It's 10:39 in the morning, and we're done. I can't believe we're done that fast. This is crazy how fast this went, and I just said fast like 100 times. So, our mower is still going. Our worker has not finished mowing our alfalfa. They're, I think, about halfway done with the second alfalfa field. So we'll go ahead and get all of our silage equipment cleaned up, put away, maintenanced, and we'll grab the 856 here, put it on the rake, and start raking in our first alfalfa field so we can get it prepped and ready to be baled. All right, we've got our first field all mowed and raked, and we are moving into the second field with the rake here. And either our worker has just finished or they're about to finish getting this field mowed. So it's 11:30. This is going extremely fast, just like our chopping did. Now, it definitely will slow down when we start baling. Baling is going to take probably 3 hours, would be my guess, especially with this field yielding what or at least I'm expecting this field to yield pretty good. Definitely a lot higher than it did in the spring, as this had a full growth, as this did have a full growth period to it, unlike earlier in the spring where it only grew for 2 months. So yeah, I can't wait to see how many bales we actually get off this field. But first, we have got to get it all raked up and tedded and turned into dry alfalfa. All right, we got all of our raking done, so we'll go ahead and get this baler fired up, get it dropped down, and we can start baling up all of our alfalfa here. Now, I do have the bale counter reset, so I can't wait to see how many bales we actually end up with here. All right, we're coming up to the end here on our first alfalfa field, and we've got exactly 200 bales. So very, very happy with that. About what it's really honestly about what I expected. So we'll head back to the home place here, and I need to reload up with some round bale net again. We've already loaded 3 times, and then we can head into the home north field and start baling up all of that alfalfa. Now I'm really, really hoping for, significantly more bales than we got earlier this spring. So I'm very excited to see, what we end up with getting out of it. But I'm going to go ahead, reload with the round bale net, get started in that field, and I'll catch up to you guys here in a little bit and see how things are going. All right, we're about halfway through this field, and we're sitting at 357 bales so far. So that means we've made 157 off this field, and we've still got, like I said, about half of it to go. So yeah, we're getting a significantly better yield than we had in the spring, and that is absolutely phenomenal. So I'm very, very happy with the choice we made to turn this into an alfalfa field. Now, the round baler is starting to become, honestly, maybe a bit of a problem. It's going really, really slow right now, trying to get all of these bales done. So I may be looking into changing over to a large round or a large square baler instead of the large round baler, just so that we're not stopping every time I gotta push a bale out. That way we can keep going. I'm guessing it would probably save me an hour, maybe a little more, for doing the baling. So that's something I'm gonna have to look into. But for now, I'm still very, very happy with where we're at and how many bales we're getting. And I think this is absolutely phenomenal. So I'm gonna go ahead, finish this up. All right, we're coming up here on the end, finally, for baling. It's 3:15 in the afternoon. This took way longer than I thought it would, and we ended up with way more bales than I thought we would. We're currently at 469. I don't know if we'll get enough for one more, and no, we will not. So yeah, 469 bales total. That means we got 269 bales off of our home north field. That's absolutely fantastic. I'm very, very happy with where we're at there. So we're going to go ahead and get all of these bales picked up and get both of these fields covered in manure. That way they are ready for next spring. So I will catch up to you guys probably next month. Hey everyone, welcome into September. We're starting the morning out doing our chores as always, but we have a lot to do this month. We have cattle that need to be moved out of basically every pen. We have cattle that need to be sold. We have hogs that need to be moved. We have milk that needs to be sold. So there's plenty to keep us busy for the next few hours anyway. And I guess also hog feed that needs to be hauled as well. So we're going to go ahead and get these chores hammered out quick. And then I'm going to get into moving cattle around. And once we're done with that, we'll go ahead and sell off some cattle, and then we'll finish the month off by moving and feeding our hogs. All right, we're going to sell off our milk next, and we've got 7,489 gallons on. So we'll get this run down to the creamery, get it sold off, and adjust the price accordingly. All right, we're down here at the creamery, so we'll go ahead and get this milk sold off. And we need to take $1,200 off. So that puts us at $150,340. So we're going to head back to the home place, drop this milk trailer, hook up to the bull rack, I believe. I got to see how many cattle we actually have to sell. But we do have Herefords that are ready, and we got a couple Holsteins that are also ready. So I'll see if they can fit in the stock trailer. If not, we'll have to get the bull rack and haul them down to the sale barn with that. All right, we've got all of our fat cattle that we're selling this month loaded up here. We've got 8 Herefords and 1 Holstein that we're selling off this month. We got a few more Holsteins that'll be ready here in another, 3-4 months, but for now we just have the one. So we'll get all of these guys hauled down to the sale barn and get them sold off. All right, we're down here at the sale barn, so we'll go ahead and get these guys sold off. And we need to take $19,172 off. So that brings us to $157,940. So we're going to head back to the home place, get some cattle moved around from the other pens, and then we'll move on to getting our hogs moved over into the other barn and also getting them fed this month. All right, we've got all of our cattle moved, and we are now ready to start feeding our pigs. So we'll go ahead and get this auger out here. And there we go. For whatever reason, I am super disappointed that you can't actually dump in the bin. You have to dump on the outside of it. Yeah, super disappointed in that. This would have been awesome to be able to actually dump inside the bin. But every time I go up that high, we evidently come out of the trigger, and it's very disappointing. So I'm not sure how long I'll actually use this trailer, but we're going to use it for today at least. So we've got to get a couple loads into this barn, and I'm going to put about 3 loads in the other barn. And then we'll go ahead and switch over to the bull rack and move the pigs over into the other barn that are ready to be moved. Well, I guess it's just not meant to be. I think I have too many animals at this point. Every time I try and load the trailer or unload the trailer, the game is freezing. It's only in the animal menu that I'm having that issue. So I'm going to go ahead and try and sell off these hogs, see if that fixes this issue. And we're just going to have to stick with cattle. I'm, fairly disappointed here, but I'll just take whatever money I make off the hogs and selling the buildings and use that to pay off, a big chunk of our loan. I have to say I am very disappointed. So we'll see if this works. If it does, that sucks, but I guess I found my animal limit. All right, well, I sold off all the hogs, sold off both of the hog barns, and this fall we'll go ahead and expand this over into more crop ground. So far, now that I've sold all the hogs, I haven't had any problems getting into the animal menus. So I do believe that was my issue. I just had too many animals on the farm, and that's, okay. We've been a cattle farm basically this entire series, so we'll just go ahead and stick with our cattle. And yeah, evidently there is a hog limit, and I reached it. So we'll go ahead and call this it for the month. I did take all the money that I made from it, just paid that down on our loan. Really doesn't make much of a difference. We still owe over $1 million, so definitely not going to, get that money paid off this series, but that's okay. Still having fun anyway, and our cattle are honestly where it's at anyway. So yeah, I will see you guys in October when we are ready to do our cattle chores and finally start our harvest. Welcome into October, everyone. It's an exciting month. We get to start our harvest this month, and well, after the fiasco of last month and the hogs, I'm just excited to get back to a little bit of normalcy here. And yeah, everybody loves to harvest. It is, well, my second favorite thing to do in the game. Selling is by far my first favorite thing to do, but harvesting is a close second. And you can see we're up to 242 animals up here in our dairy barn. My goodness, there are so many cattle up here. And I do believe that is part of why we had such an issue with our hogs. I'm running the realistic livestock mod, and I have it set to show, I think, 200 animals in a lot. So yeah, that's a lot of animals for my PC to try and, render out. And as far as being on the map, it all worked out fine. It was just in the animal menu, I was having issues. But you can see there's just a crazy amount of cattle out here of all different ages and sizes, and it's absolutely wonderful. So we will have a few head that we need to move out of this barn this month, but we're going to worry about that later on. First things first, we need to get all of our chores done, get all of these cattle fed, get our milk sold, and then I'm going to go ahead and jump straight into harvest, and we'll save moving any of the cattle for the last thing we do today. All right, we've got a full trailer load, so we've got 8,443 gallons on. So we'll get this run down to the creamery, get it sold off, and adjust our price accordingly. All right, we're down here at the creamery, so we'll go ahead and get this milk sold off. All right, and we need to take $330 off. So that puts us at $158,766. That is absolutely wonderful. So we're going to run back to the home place and get everything prepped and ready for harvest. All right, we have officially started our harvest. We've got both of our combines rolling out here, and we're starting as far away from the home place as we can, and we're going to move our way back as we move from field to field here. So we're going to do both of our bean fields, move back to the home place where all of our corn is, and then finish up with that corn. And I'm super excited for this. No idea how many beans we're going to get, no idea how much corn we're going to get, but I got a feeling it's going to be a good amount of beans and a crazy amount of corn. So I'm very excited, and I'm definitely happy to be here for it. We've got the 8950 hooked up to our Kinsey 1050 grain cart. So I will catch up to you guys when we get our first semi-load out of this field. All right, well, believe it or not, it's been an hour and a half, and we've made it nowhere. If you can tell, we have different combines. I don't know why, but the 2388s that I bought combined great. However, they wouldn't unload. I changed grain carts, went to base game grain carts, tried 7 different ones, none of them worked. Could not get the combine to stick stick its pipe out to unload, and my God, what a disaster it's been. So, looks like we're having a disaster over here as well. Well, maybe they'll figure it out. Okay. So, I bought two 2188s. And that's what we're going to roll with. And I installed the real speed limit mod to speed them up because I just don't have time to do a 12 or 15 hour harvest. So we're running them at 12 mile an hour right now. Just basic, still their 10,000 liter capacity. No big deal there. Just going to be running a little faster through this harvest and the rest of the series. I debated on just bumping up to one of the big combines, that's in base game, but I didn't like that, at least not for this 90 series. I feel bad enough running this real speed limit mod in this series, but it just is what it is. People put mods out that aren't finished, aren't ready, and this is one of the headaches you got to deal with. So we're going to go ahead and get this harvest going. Now, being able to run 12 mile an hour, it's obviously twice as fast. I could bump them all the way up to 16, but I feel like that's really pushing it. So we're going to roll at 12 mile an hour, see how it goes. Now, I do have to buy new corn headers yet because the pipe on these combines is shorter, and it won't reach, or at least I don't believe it'll reach. I'll have to double check. If it will reach, then I will back it back down to 6 mile an hour, keep it a little bit more realistic, but at this point, it is getting very difficult to keep this series realistic, just due to lack of equipment availability, I guess would be the best way to put it. So we're going to keep hammering along here, and hopefully this field does not take very long since we are running 12 mile an hour. All right, and we officially have our first semi-load of the 1998 harvest. It's very exciting. It took us a while to get here, even though, the clock doesn't really show that. But it's an exciting moment. And this is the first time we get to use our new bin site, which is very, very exciting. And hopefully all goes well and everything works as it should. All right, getting pulled in here to our home place. And we'll go ahead and get this trailer unloaded for the first time in our brand new bin site. And this thing is so much bigger than what you realize. This thing is absolutely ginormous. All right, now we'll head back to the field, and there's absolutely no shot that we're going to be able to keep up with the combines being that far away, so they will be sitting and waiting, which honestly is a nice thing. It's kind of nice for them to be waiting on me instead of me waiting on them, like it has been for the first, 8 years of this series. All right, we have our first field done, and we've got everything moved over into our second bean field to get it opened up. And this is truckload number 4. We're not quite full. We're at 96%. I'm really happy with that. I did not expect to get that many beans off that field. So that is absolutely fantastic. But we're going to hurry up, get this unloaded, and try and make sure we get back to the field before the combines fill up. We're a little bit closer to the home place now, and I have them running a little bit slower to run the headlands. Hopefully there's no issues. So hopefully everything goes well and we get caught up before they get full. All right, we are officially done combining our beans. We've got this full semi-load here, and we've got a grain cart that's pretty close to full. It's over, I don't know, 86, 87% full, and the combines are empty. So we're going to go ahead and get all of these beans hauled back to the home place here, get them thrown in our into a bin, and then we're going to get the combines pulled back to the home place here, and we're going to start combining our corn here in the home place field. Now, beans went very, very quickly. Having that speed, that real speed limit definitely makes a difference. Very happy with being able to record a lot faster here. So very, very happy with that. But it does feel a little off. So I'll see how the corn's going. May bump the corn back a little bit, or the combine speed down a little bit for the corn. We'll just have to play it by ear. But so far, pretty happy with where we're at as far as the harvest is going. But I did end up with less beans than I thought I would. So a little disappointed in that. But I do believe this corn harvest will more than make up for it. So I will catch up to you guys here in just a bit when we get all of the equipment back to the home place here and get ready to start combining our corn. All right, we are officially rolling in the cornfield. Very, very excited for this. And boy, do we have a lot of corn to get combined here. So we're going to get to it. And I can't wait to see how much corn we actually get off this field and off the other huge field over here at our home place. All right, well, we are absolutely flying through this field, and I did have to slow the combines down. They were trucking along way too fast at 12 mile an hour, and I just couldn't even remotely keep up. So things are going very well. Like I said, we're about halfway through this field. And yeah, I bumped them back down to 9 mile an hour just to make sure that I could kind of keep up. I'm still not keeping up very well, but 9 mile an hour is definitely better than 12. That is for sure. So very excited about how this field is going. No idea how many semi-loads I've gotten off this field. It's been quite a few, and definitely not going to be near as many as the next field. The next field is going to be absolutely crazy. All right, we have finished combining the home place field here, and we're getting ready to head to the south field. Now, where our yield is way, way down. We've only got 401,495 liters off of the home place field. That yield is way, way down from what we got last year, and our grand total for soybeans was 315,545. So, down a little bit on soybeans, way down on corn so far. Let's really, really hope that the south field has a significantly better yield. Otherwise, I'm going to end up being, slightly disappointed in this harvest. All right, our harvest is officially finished. It is almost 6 o'clock at night. That took a long time to get that field done. And boy, it did not disappoint one bit. We are now at 1,129,947 liters of corn. That is absolutely bonkers. Did not expect that. I was, definitely disappointed in the yield for the home place, but that south field more than made up for it. Holy cow. So, we are officially done with the month of October. We have not done any of our baling yet, and we have a ridiculous amount of bales to pick up, or well, to make. To be honest, we haven't even made any yet. So yeah, we have just a crazy amount of bales that we need to make yet for our stock bales. We'll have to get those all picked up, and yeah, next month is going to be a very, very busy month. So I will see you guys in November. Hey everyone, welcome into November. Last month was a very exciting month getting our harvest done, and this month is going to be a very busy month getting fertilizing done, getting lime done, getting all of our stocks baled up, hauling milk, which is going to be kind of crazy going forward here, especially throughout this winter. So as we get out here, take a look, we've got 253 head currently in this barn. Now we've got quite a few that we do need to get moved out of here and moved down into our yearling pen. So that number will go down a little bit this month, but yeah, there's a crazy amount of cows out in this pasture, and it's, very exciting. But we've got 4, maybe 5 loads of feed we got to get hauled here. So I'm going to knock that out, and I'll catch up to you guys when we're ready to sell our crazy amount of milk. All right, we've got 8,443 gallons on, and this is load number 1 of 2 for our milk. So we're now to the point where a full semi-trailer is not enough, or does not have enough capacity for the amount of milk that we are now producing. But regardless, we'll get this run down to the creamery, get this sold off, and adjust the price accordingly. All right, we're down here at the creamery, so we'll go ahead and get this milk sold off. And we need to add $900. So that brings us to $155,122. And now we're going to head back to the home place, reload, and bring the rest of our milk down here to get it sold off as well. All right, we're back down here at the creamery, and we've got 3,508 gallons on. So we'll go ahead and get this sold off as well. And we need to add $425. So that brings us up to $164,604. That is absolutely incredible. I'm super, super happy with that milk sale. So now we're going to head back to the home place, hook up to the baler, and start baling up our corn stalks. That is probably going to take a very good portion of the day for us to get done. But well worth it when we can get, get them, most of them sold for a big profit. Well, on our way back to the home place, I went ahead and stopped in at the implement dealer and wanted to see if we could get a square baler. Now, I was very disappointed that our Case IH dealer doesn't have a Case IH square baler, at least not a large one. So, very disappointed in that, but they did have this Kloss Quadrant 1200, so I went ahead and bought it. It cost $20,000. Bit expensive if you ask me, but with the amount of money we're making off of our milk, I wasn't going to argue with them too much over it. So I'm going to see if our 1586 will pull it. It should have more than enough power, but well, the 1586 is quite old and quite used, so it just might not have the power anymore. But we're going to go ahead, jump in, get this baler fired up, drop the pickup, and see how this goes. Hopefully this goes significantly faster than, doing our round baling. And, well, if it doesn't, we're now there's nothing we can do about it because we've fully committed at this point. So I'll go ahead, run this baler here, see how things go, and I will catch up to you guys once we get all of this done. Well, we're finally coming up to the end here, getting all of our corn stalks baled up, and Boy, oh howdy, did we get a lot of them. So we're at 425 bales. Go ahead and eject the unfinished bale here, which is so much nicer than, you know, the round baler not being able to do that. So we've got 426 bales we need to get picked up. So I'm going to go ahead and get all of these picked up, and then we can jump right into getting some slurry spread out on these fields. I have no idea how far that'll go, but should hopefully at least get one field done. All right, well, I went ahead and hired up a worker, and they're running the four-wheel drive, spreading slurry in our south field at the moment. And I hooked up the 8950. Wasn't sure if it'd pull this card or not, but it definitely is pulling it with zero issues, which is fantastic. So I'm going to go ahead and spread lime here on the home place field. Get this knocked out. Now, this cart is going to cost us about $900 a load, which, you know, kind of sucks, but it is what it is. We do need the lime. Otherwise, our yield is going to really, really suffer next year. So I'm going to go ahead, get all of this lime spread, get all the slurry spread. I'm really hoping we can cover the entire south field. I'm like 95% sure we won't be able to finish both of these fields, let alone our other fields that are on the other side of the county here. So we'll end up having to put dry fertilizer down for those. But that's okay. I want to get as many acres covered with the slurry as we can, just to save us, you know, as much money as possible here on our inputs. So I'm going to go ahead and hammer all this out, and I will catch up to you guys when we run out of slurry. Hey everyone, welcome into December of 1998. It is a nice snowy morning, very dark, and we've got quite a bit to do this month. So we're going to go ahead and start out, as always, getting our chores done, selling our milk. We've got some cattle that need to be sold, and we're going to go ahead and sell all of our soybeans this month as well. So this should be a pretty profitable month here, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. And as you can see, we're at 249 head in this barn. I've already moved all of the cattle around from pen to pen that needed to be moved this month. So that's already taken care of. And with that said, I will go ahead and catch up to you guys when we're ready to sell our milk. All right, we've got 8,443 gallons on this trailer. It is full, and we also have milk that we were not able to get onto this trailer this load. So we will have multiple loads taken down to the creamery today. So we'll get these hauled down there and get the price adjusted accordingly. All right, we're down here at the creamery, so we'll go ahead and get this load sold off. And we need to add $1,400. So that brings us to $135,102. And we'll run back to the home place here, reload one more time, and sell off the rest of our milk. All right, we're back down here at the creamery, and we've got 3,680 gallons of milk on. And we'll go ahead and get this sold off and adjust the price accordingly. And we need to add $500. So that brings us up to a grand total of $145,452. Very, very happy with that. Our milk is absolutely killing it right now. Unfortunately, that's about the only thing that's killing it right now. Our beef price is down a little bit from last year. Our soybean and corn prices are also down a little bit. And our hay sales are down a lot a bit this year. It's going to be a rough one selling hay and corn stalks this year, but we got to get them sold regardless. So we're going to head back to the home place here, and we're going to sell off some cattle next. All right, we have 15 head of cattle on this trailer. We'll get these guys run down to the sale barn, get them sold off, and adjust our price accordingly. All right, we're down here at the sale barn, so we'll go ahead and get these 15 heads sold off here. All right, we need to take $27,991 off. So that brings us to $157,754. So not the best beef sale we've ever had. The price of beef is down quite a bit, actually. We just sold those guys for $58 per hundredweight, which is about $10 per hundredweight less than we did last year. So that's rather disappointing. Now, the most disappointing part is coming up next, and that is our alfalfa and stock bales. Those prices are half of what they were last year. So we have a lot more bales, but I don't think we're going to make more money. I do believe we will make less money off of those this year than we did last year, which is frustrating to say the least. But we'll go ahead, get the trailer switched out, get loaded up with some alfalfa, and start getting that sold off. All right, we've got our first trailer load loaded up here. We'll go ahead and get these run down to the bale sale, get them sold off, and adjust our price accordingly. And we have 649 alfalfa bales we're going to be selling this month. That is definitely our most alfalfa bales we've ever sold. Unfortunately, the alfalfa price is down to $108 a bale, which is not great. That is a long ways from the $203 we got last year. So very disappointing in that. And our stock bale price is even worse. We've got 400 of those that we're going to get sold off this month. And that price is only at $50. That is atrocious. So we're going to take a big hit on those. But we need to get them sold off because we definitely can't use that many. And I'm holding back more than I have in any previous year, mostly because the price is that bad, and it's going to save me on how many bales we have to use next year. Hopefully, the bale price goes up quite a bit next year. Okay, we're down here at the bale sale, so we'll go ahead and get these bales sold off. And we need to take $12,278 off. So that brings us to $162,290. Not bad, but, like I said, quite a bit lower than what we got last year. Now I'm going to go ahead, hurry up, get all of these bales sold. That way we can move into getting our soybeans sold, as we definitely need to get all of those sold this month, or our price is going to go down a little bit, and I do not want that. So we'll get these bales sold off as fast as possible, and I'll catch up to you guys when we are ready to start selling off our soybeans. All right, we officially have all of our bales sold that we wanted to get sold this year. Now, we did make a good profit, but I'm still disappointed. It was basically half of what we got for, per bale last year. But with the amount of bales we made this year, we still made one heck of a profit, and we're at $249,346. So we're going to now loaded with soybeans, and we're going to head down to the co-op, get these sold off, and adjust the price accordingly. All right, we're getting pulled into the co-op here, so we'll go ahead and get this load of soybeans sold off. And we need to take $31,712 off. So that brings us to $255,446. Now we are selling our beans this month at $5.28 a bushel. So that brings each trailer load to $6,098. We've got quite a few trailer loads to haul here, as we had 315,000 liters. And I'm honestly not sure how many bushels that actually was, because I didn't do the conversion. But it's quite a few trailer loads here. So I will catch up to you guys on the last one as usual, and see how we end up coming out after we get all of our beans sold here. All right, we're pulling into the co-op with our last 869 bushels here. So we'll go ahead and get this sold off and adjust the price accordingly. And we need to take $23,405 off. So that brings us to $296,330. So we're right up there, real close to 300 grand, and I'm very, very happy with that. This is great. Even though prices are down, we're still making a really, really good profit, because we've increased the amount of acres we're farming, therefore increasing the amount of crop we are pulling out of the fields. So that is absolutely fantastic. Hey everyone, welcome into March of 1999. This series is going by so fast, it is insane. So we're going to start off doing our chores as normal, selling our milk as normal. We've got corn that needs to get sold, and I do believe we have some cows that need to get sold. So we've got quite a bit to do this month. You can see we're sitting at $214,120, and that's mostly due to me spending about $120,000 last year on some more land. So we're expanding our arable farming even more this year. I understand prices are down, but the more acres we can, farm, the more product we'll have to sell, and we can still make a very, very good profit as long as we have enough corn and soybeans to sell. So we're going to go ahead and knock these 4 loads of feed out, and then we will jump into selling our milk, then our corn, and then our cattle, I think. That could change. We'll see how this goes, but I will catch up to you guys when we are ready to sell off our milk. All right, we are loaded up with milk, and we've got 8,443 gallons on. So we'll get this run down to the creamery, get it sold off, and adjust the price accordingly. All right, we're getting pulled in down here at the creamery, and we'll go ahead and get this milk sold off. And we need to add $1,000. So that brings us to $238,168. Now we have a little bit of milk still in the barn that we couldn't get on the trailer, so we'll head back to the home place, reload, get that hauled down here to the creamery, and get it sold off as well. All right, we're back down here at the creamery, and we've got 1,843 gallons on. So we'll go ahead and get this sold off and adjust the price accordingly. And we need to add $230. So that brings us up to the grand total of $243,428. Now we're going to run back to the home place, and I think we're going to go ahead and sell off our cattle next. All right, we have our trailer loaded up with 19 head of Holsteins. So we'll get these guys run down to the sale barn, get them sold off, and as always, adjust the price accordingly. All right, we're down here at the sale barn, so we'll go ahead and get these 19 heads sold off, and we're selling them for $63.50 per hundredweight. All right, we need to take back $33,985. So that brings us to $261,526. So we're going to head back to the home place, and we have a crazy amount of corn that needs to get sold. We have over 1 million liters of corn that we're selling this month, and I'm very, very excited for this sale. All right, we have our first load of very, very many loads of corn here. So we'll go ahead and get this run down to the co-op, get this sold off, and adjust the price accordingly. All right, we're getting pulled into the co-op here, and we'll go ahead and get this first trailer load sold off. All right, and we need to take $23,788 off. So that brings us to $263,814. And we've got about twice as much corn to sell this year as we did last year. So that's exciting. Unfortunately, the price is not so exciting. So we're selling at $1.98 a bushel. That is an absolutely terrible corn price. But it is what it is. We can't do anything about it. And we need to get this corn sold off because the price is only going to continue going down. So we're going to go ahead and get the rest of these loads sold off. And I will catch up to you guys on the last one. All right, we're pulling into the co-op here with our last 223 bushels. So we'll go ahead and get this sold off and adjust the price accordingly. And we need to take $4,552 off. All right, so that brings our total to $324,525. Now, we've got a bunch of field work we need to get done. And, well, I shouldn't say a bunch, but we definitely have some field work that needs to get done. And we can't do it while it's raining. So I'm going to wait for this rain to quit, and hopefully we still have enough time left in the day once this rain's over that we can get to it and get it all done this month and not have to worry about it next month. So I will catch up to you guys whenever this rain quits. Well, I decided I would go ahead and try it even though it's raining. And yeah, we can go ahead and tear this up and combine this field into one big field and do a lot of other field combining and plowing that we need to get done this month. A, because the quad track is just an absolute beast of a tractor, and B, because it's a farm sim and it allows me to do it. So instead of wasting half the day waiting for the rain, we're just going to go ahead and get this torn up. Now, we've got quite a bit more tillage to do yet. And as you can see, we're down to 157,000. And that's because, you know, I just can't hold on to the money. You know, I had to spend it. And we expanded and bought another field. So we have now bought 3 fields here this winter/early spring, and added basically another 200 acres to our farming operation. So I'm very excited for it. Planting is going to be crazy, and harvest is going to be just even more insane. But it's I think it's going to be totally worth it, even though crop prices are absolutely horrible, and you know, we're just not going to make a whole bunch of money from it, but at the same time, you just will expand while you can. And since this is the year 1999, we spent $1,770 per acre on the 3 fields that we have bought and purchased so far. And I've got some big hopes and dreams here, I would say is the best way to put it. But I'm very excited for this, so we're going to go ahead, get this combined, so the south field and the home place will all be one big field now. And we're adding to our middle field, and also all the way on the other side of the map, on the other side of town, I bought the huge 90.5 acre field that was just south of the field that we first planted last year down by the gas station. So that is going to be right around 140 acres. So that's going to be one ridiculously big field. But I'm gonna go ahead, get all of this torn up, and I will catch up to you guys when we get this all plowed in. All right, we're coming up on the end here, getting this field all tilled up and combined into one. That is super exciting. So we're gonna roll down the road here. I can show you guys one of the new fields that we bought, and we'll move into the next field that needs to be tilled up and combined. But this is very, very exciting. I hope we can actually pull this off. Harvest is going to be insane, to say the least. But you know what? I'm here for it. I'm excited for it. And I cannot wait until next month when we can get into the field and start planting. And this right here is a great view of the farmland that we own. You can see our farmstead off in the distance there. That is the home place field. This is our field that we bought last year. And right across the road from it is a new field to us this year. Very excited to get into that field. And, you know, it's kind of an odd shape, but it should be a lot of fun to plant and harvest. And this is what we're going to expand, is this field. We bought the field to the south of it, so we're going to combine this and make this one big field. And I'm going to extend the edges of the field quite a bit around this field as well. But that field right across from us, that is our new field, like I said. And yeah, we've got so many acres. It is absolutely insane how many acres we are now harvesting. Or I should say farming. How many acres we are farming, because we are not only harvesting, but we are also planting, fertilizing, liming, all of that. So I'm going to go ahead and get this field started here. And I think I'm going to start down in this corner. I want to get this field a little bit closer to the edge of the road. No reason to have a big headland over here. A little something like that. We'll get whipped around and start tilling this field up. And honestly, I don't even know how far we're going to go with this, but I got a feeling we're going to add quite a bit of acres to this field just on the field margins alone. So I will catch up to you guys when we get this finished and see just how much bigger this ends up being. All right, we've got these two fields all combined into one. So we're going to head over here to our east field and get this combined in with that new 90-acre field and get that all one big, gigantic field. So very excited for it. And this one won't take very long. There's not a whole lot of plowing we need to do to get these two combined into one big field. So, and this is the new field that we just bought. You can see it goes all the way up to the tree line there. Nice, big, super long rows on this field. And yeah, this one is definitely going to take quite some time to get combined here in the fall. And it's definitely going to take some time to get planted as well. So we'll go ahead. We just got this one strip of grass here between the two fields that we got to get rid of. And this will all be one big giant field. I'm very, very excited for this. And I also don't think I've ever... No, I'm like 95% sure I've never actually done anything in this big field over here. I've done stuff in the field that we bought last year in FS22, but as far as the big field here that we're combining into, I don't believe I've ever harvested, planted, sprayed, nothing. Never done a contract. So this will be a new field for me, and that makes it even that much more exciting. All right, we're coming up on the end here, getting this field all combined into one, and this is very exciting. Now, it is still raining, so we will need to wait until it is done raining before we put any lime down or any fertilizer. But that's okay. The rain should be done here pretty soon. It was supposed to end at 1 o'clock, so hopefully by the time we get back to the home place, it will be done raining, and we can get straight into putting some lime and fertilizer down. And while we're here, I suppose we should just go ahead and jump up into the map here, and you can see this is now field 20, 21, and 22 is now just one gigantic field. And I've decided that farmland 38 that we bought for our hogs originally, I'm not going to till that up. I'm going to keep that as gravel because we're going to need someplace to store bales. And the home place just, it ain't it. There's not enough room there. So we're going to use that as bale storage later on this year. But you can see fields 3 and 4 are now combined into one. And I extended the one end of this field quite a bit on field 3. About 2 full passes with the planter. We own field 6. And now this gigantic field over here at the home place is all one field. So our number of fields is not very big, but the size of the fields is absolutely gigantic. We are definitely entering the big time operator stage of this series. And I'm very excited for it, minus not having a bigger combine. That part is definitely going to suck later this fall. Well, the rain finally quit, so we're going to go ahead and start spreading our fertilizer. This is leftover from last fall. So thankfully, fertilizer goes a crazy distance, so we should be able to get everything fertilized that we need to get fertilized here and not run out. Lime, on the other hand, I'm guessing is probably going to be a couple, maybe 3, hopefully no more than 3 of these loads, but fertilizer definitely goes a long ways. So we'll go ahead, start out with the fertilizer, then we can switch over to the lime, and then we need to get some cultivating done because there's no way we can plow or plant into this plowed ground here. So we'll go ahead and knock this out. This is not going to take very long, and I will catch up to you guys here in just a bit. All right, we're coming up here on the end, and we are officially done with our fertilizer. So we're going to head back to the home place and get switched over to our first load of lime. And hopefully it goes a lot farther than I think it will, but, you know, something tells me that it probably won't. All right, so we're doing our first load of lime here, and hoping we don't have to do too many, because it did cost us $900, and we already have more seed that we're going to have to buy because of, you know, the extended acres that I ended up picking up here. Boy, sometimes our words are hard. But, yeah, hopefully this goes a lot farther than I think it will, but something tells me it probably won't. All right, and with this, we are just about finished. Perfect. So we did end up only needing this one cart. We've got 5,000 liters of lime left over. And yeah, I'm very happy with that. I was worried we were going to have to go through multiple carts, but this big cart definitely made all the difference in the world. Welcome into April, everyone. It is a very rainy morning, not what I had in mind at all for this month. We've got a crazy amount of planting we need to do, and we can't get to it. So this is an issue. Hopefully by the time we're done doing all of our chores, the rain will have stopped, but it's not looking great. So we've got 5 loads of feed we got to get hauled, 2 loads of milk we need to get hauled, and hopefully by the time we get all of that done, the rain will have stopped. If not, getting all of our fields planted this month might become extremely challenging. But I'm going to go ahead and knock out these 5 loads of feed, and I will catch up to you guys when we get down to our Hereford barn, or Hereford pen, because we have some brand new babies that have been born over the last couple of months, and it's always exciting when we have new cattle on the farm. All right, we got our dairy barn all fed up here, so we're going to go ahead, get our Herefords and the fat Holstein lot fed next. So we're going to split a load between the two. And as you can see, we have a lot of little babies out here. Now, we are not done calving in this Hereford barn yet. We've still got a few more to get born, or to be born yet. They should hopefully show up next month. And it's always very, very exciting. Herefords are by far my favorite cattle on the planet. And it's very exciting being able to have them in game. So we're going to go ahead. We got one more load of feed after this for the yearling pen for both the Herefords and the Holsteins. And we will be done with our chores. All right, we've got 8,443 gallons on, so we'll go ahead and get this run down to the creamery, get it sold off, and adjust the price accordingly. And we're not going to do a second load because it's honestly just not even worth it. It's only 200 liters. I thought we had more than that in the barn, and yeah, just not going to worry about it. So we're only going to do this one load, and that'll be it for our milk this month. All right, we're down here at the creamery, so we'll go ahead and get this milk sold off. And we need to add $1,900. So that brings us to $157,218. And unfortunately, it is still raining, so we're going to have to wait out this rain before we can start planting, because that is what we have left to do this month is plant and hopefully, if we have enough time, get our fields sprayed. As you know, I like to get all of our fields sprayed as soon as they're done planting. That way we never have to worry about weeds in our field. All right, it's 1:45. The rain has finally quit and we can start planting. And as you can see, I have GPS lines on the field. And that is because in 1999, GPS had finally really started to take off in agriculture. And it wasn't used by everybody by any means, not like it is today. However, it was on the rise, and so far throughout the series, for the most part, we've been, you know, staying with the up and up on our equipment and what was available at the time. So we're going to go ahead and run GPS this year for planting and harvesting. And honestly, I think this is going to work out really, really well. 1999 was really one of the first times where a lot of farmers began running GPS. This equipment would have been able to have GPS on it. However, it was extremely expensive at the time. So from what I saw, it was about $6,000 to have GPS put on a tractor. So we've got 2 tractors that will be running it. So we're going to have to take $12,000 off just to get through planting season here. All right, so I took that $12,000 off, and we can now officially get to planting. So we'll get this fired up, get it dropped down, and we'll get to planting. And both of our planters are direct drill, and direct drill was available in 1999 as well. So with moving up with the times and being innovative, this is how we're going to be running for this season. So I've already got the other tractor all the way over in the west field. I do believe I said east earlier, and that was definitely wrong. My apologies. So it's running in the west field, that huge field over there, and that is going to be corn. And we're just going to kind of work our way into the middle here with both planters and see where we end up. All right, we're coming up to the end here at the home place field, and everything has gone very, very well. So we're done planting our soybeans here. We're going to just jump across the road. No reason to even attempt to fold up. And our corn planter has already finished over in our west field. And I've got a sprayer rolling over there as well, getting that field sprayed. We need to get as much work done as we can, as there is more rain coming yet. So I'm going to go ahead and get into planting in this field next. And I'm very, very excited for this. We got a lot of beans planted. We have a crazy amount of corn planted. And I also moved the corn planter over into our other field that is between here and the home place field. So that is exciting as well. Now, using GPS has definitely made a very, very big difference here. And also using the speed mod to go a little faster, especially with more rain coming. I really, really want to get all of this planted and hopefully sprayed if possible, but for sure planted. So we're going to keep chugging along. You can see we're down to 139,000 already. And that's because I didn't already purchase any seed, because I genuinely had no idea how much seed we were going to use. So I've used 5 planter loads for soybeans so far, and it's taken 2 planters for the corn, and he should have enough to finish planting that field. So corn seed definitely goes a lot farther than soybean seed, which we all know. But yeah, it's definitely crazy because they're pretty close to the same size. And yeah, we use, 5 times as much seed, which is absolutely crazy. But we're going to go ahead, hammer this out, and I will catch up to you guys when we are done planting. All right, our corn is officially completely planted, and we're coming up on the end here with our soybeans, and we're going to have, oh my goodness, 1 liter extra. Hot dang. And now our soybeans are completely planted, so we're going to head back to the home place, get both of our planters and planting tractors cleaned up, and finish spraying, and that'll be it for the month of April. So I will see you guys in May when we are ready to knock down our alfalfa and make some hay bales. Hey everyone, welcome into May. It is May of 1999, and it is a absolutely beautiful sunshiny morning. And we've got quite a bit of work to do this month. Not as much as we had to get done last month. And as you can see, we're sitting at 96,000. Last month was very, very expensive with me not pre-purchasing any of our seed or chemicals. But all in all, I'm okay with it because we covered a crazy amount of farm ground, and it's going to make harvest really, really fun. So we've got 4 loads of feed we got to get hauled this morning, and 1 load of milk, and then we need to get into mowing down our alfalfa. So we've got quite a bit to do here. All of our Herefords have now calved, so we have all of the new baby calves officially in the pen. And I went ahead and moved the bulls and a couple of the yearling females, our heifers, over into that lot as well. So the fat Hereford lot is a little thin at the moment. There's nothing but the steers left in there. And we have a couple of head that are getting close to being ready to be sold in our Holstein lot, but not quite there yet. Going to be another couple of months. So really, all in all, just kind of doing chores and getting our alfalfa taken care of this month. And that'll be about it. So I will catch up to you guys once we get all of our cattle fed and we're ready to sell our milk. All right, we've got 8,443 gallons on. So we'll get this run down to the creamery, get it sold off, and adjust the price accordingly. All right, we're down here at the creamery, so we'll go ahead and get this sold off. All right, and we need to add $1,800. So that brings us up to $119,601. Very happy with that. So now we're going to head back to the home place and get our mower ready and fired up and start mowing down our alfalfa. I'll follow behind with the rake, get it all tedded and ready to be baled. And it's going to be very, very exciting getting all of these bales, and definitely needed. We're starting to get pretty low in our bale storage. All right, we got our case swather fired up here. I'm gonna run the headlands here, and then I will have Grandpa run the rest of it, and I will follow behind with the rake and start getting it all tedded and raked up. All right, so far we've got all of our alfalfa mowed down. We've got it all raked. I've got one field already completely baled, and we're at 165 bales right now, which threw me off a bit because it's far less than the 200 that I'm used to. But I forgot that these bales are slightly larger. So I have no idea how many bales we're going to end up with, but I'm very excited to see when we get this field done. And I'm very, very happy with our square baler, as this is going significantly faster than it did with our round baler, not having to stop on every bale to drop it out. So I'll catch up to you guys when we get this field completed and see how many bales we actually end up with in total at the end. We're coming right up here to the end, and we've got 377 bales. I am very, very happy with that. We'll go ahead and unload these last 2 bales out of the baler, and that'll be it for baling here in the spring. I'm going to go ahead and get all of this baler cleaned up, get the tractor cleaned up, get all of these bales picked up, do our fertilizing, and that'll be it for this month. Hey everyone, welcome into August of 1999. We're coming up on the end of the century, the end of the millennium, and things honestly couldn't be going any better on our farm. Everything is growing absolutely fantastic. Our cattle are doing amazing, and I'm very, very happy with the state of our farm currently. So we've got a lot to do here. We've got about 6 loads of feed we got to haul. We've got milk we need to get sold. We have a few head of cattle that need to get sold. We'll sell quite a few more here in another month or two. And then we also have some more baling we got to get done this month. So we have plenty to keep us busy here in the month of August. So I'm going to go ahead and get all of our chores taken care of, and then I'll catch up to you guys when we're ready to sell off the milk. All right, we've got 8,443 gallons of milk on. So we'll get this run down to the creamery, get it sold off, and adjust the price accordingly. As we're driving down here, you can see our alfalfa field looks great. Our beans look absolutely fantastic. So all of our crops are looking absolutely wonderful here for the last year of this century. So very excited for that. And our other bean field here is looking very good as well, as long as I keep the camera out of the trees here. So yeah, everything's looking just the way it should. All right, we're down here at the creamery. We'll go ahead and get this milk sold off. And we need to add $3,200. So that brings us to an even $129,000. Very, very happy with that. So we're going to head back to the home place, switch out trailers. We'll drop the milk trailer, hook up to the bull rack, and get loaded up with some cattle and head down to the sale barn to get them sold off. All right, we've got 22 head of Holsteins on here. So we're going to get these guys run down to the sale barn and get them sold off. All right, we're down here at the sale barn, so we're going to go ahead and get these 22 heads sold off, and we're selling them for $62.80 per hundredweight. All right, we need to take $45,026 off. So that brings us up to $149,724. I'm very, very happy with that cattle sale. And we should be selling off, it'll either be next month or the month after, we will be selling off our Herefords out of that fat cattle lot. So we're not quite done selling cattle yet. But for this month we are, and next we'll be doing some baling. So I'll head back to the home place, get the mower all set up, and start knocking down some alfalfa. All right, we got the mower all set up and we're ready to roll. So I'm going to go ahead and do just like we did last spring. I'm going to knock out the headlands, and then I will hire up the worker to finish out doing all the straight back and forth. And while they're doing that, I will grab the 856 and the rake and go ahead and get this all tedded and raked up and ready to be baled. All right, we've got everything all mowed up. Everything's all raked up and ready to go. So we're going to go ahead and knock out this baling quick. So we'll get this fired up, get it dropped down, and we should have somewhere around 335 bales, I do believe. So this is very good. And for some reason, I don't really understand why, but it started piling up like that. And it's just random, no idea why, but we'll have a few spots like that we got to work through and work around. But all in all, this should go relatively quickly. Still very, very happy with our square baler purchase. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and knock this out, and I'll catch up to you guys when we get finished with both of these fields to see how many bales we end up with in the end. All right, we are coming up to the end here, and I definitely underguessed how many bales we were going to get by a long shot. So we ended up with 377 bales, kicked these last one out anyway. And yeah, that was... 378 bales. Yeah, quite a few more than I was expecting. So we're going to go ahead and get all of these bales picked up, get our alfalfa fertilized, and that is going to be it for the month of August. So I will catch up to you guys here in either September or October, whenever we're ready to sell cattle and or start our harvest. All right, well, I almost screwed up. I was picking up my bales and remembered it's August and I need to chop some silage, and we have not done that yet. So, got everything ready. We're all set up and we are rolling over here in the new field that we bought this year. And yeah, we got to fill both silos, and I'm really hoping both silos will be enough to get us through another year. Not sure if it will, but definitely going to cross my fingers, because we have no other silage storage whatsoever. So what we got is what we got. So we're going to fill both silos completely full, and hopefully I can do a little better job driving here. That was terrible. And yeah, hopefully we can have enough silage to get our cattle fed for another year anyway. So we're going to hammer this chopping out as fast as we can. This Kloss Jaguar does an amazing job, and I'm guessing it's going to take quite a bit of this field to get both of those silos filled. So we're going to get rocking and rolling here, and I'll catch up to you guys in a bit and see how things are going. All right, we officially have all of our silage chopped, so we have more than enough silage, I hope, anyway, that to get our cattle fed for the rest of the year. So I'm going to go ahead and get everything cleaned up, put away, and I will catch up to you guys in either September or October. I don't think it'll be September. I'm pretty sure we're going to wait till October to sell some cattle, but it might be in September. We'll just have to see how things go here. But I'll catch up to you guys here in just a minute. Hey everyone, welcome into October. It's October of 1999 and we are ready to do our harvest. But first, as always, we need to do our chores, get our milk sold, and we have a lot of cattle to sell this month. We didn't end up selling them last month in September, so they will be sold this month, and there's rain coming. So we have a lot of work to do, not much time to do it, so we're going to get to it as fast as we can here, and I will catch up to you guys when we're ready to sell off some milk. All right, we've got 8,443 gallons on, plus quite a bit of milk left over in the barn yet for a second load. So we'll go ahead and get this run down to the creamery, get it sold off, adjust the price accordingly, and come back and do it all over again for a second load. All right, we're down here at the creamery. We'll go ahead and get this milk sold off. And we need to add $50. So that brings us up to $159,788. All right, we're back down here at the creamery, and we've got 2,732 gallons on, so we'll go ahead and get this sold off and adjust the price accordingly. And we need to add $50. All right, so that brings us up to $167,571. So with the rain coming, I think we're going to wait and sell our cattle late today. I want to try and get this harvest done before that rain hits. Probably won't happen since it's going to hit at like 2 o'clock. But I want to get as much done as we can before then. So we're going to go ahead and get everything set up and ready for harvest. All right, we got both combines rolling, and I'm going to see if I can catch up to them, hopefully before they get full. I've got the real speed limit mod rolling again. That way we can harvest as fast as we possibly can, try and get it done before this rain hits. And I'm very, very excited for how things are going. Which, you know, we just started. But so far, so good. I think if I can catch my combines, oh my God, they made it a long ways. So yeah, they're absolutely flying through the field, and I'm very excited for it. Over here, you can see, you know, our field that we did some chopping in this last month. We'll have to finish up combining that one later on, but right now, boy, trying to catch my lead combine is going to be challenging to say the least. All right, we have our first load of soybeans here. We've made it about 1.5 times around the field, give or take. So got that load pretty quick, honestly. That's good. That means we're going to have a really, really good bean yield this year, and definitely need it. Crop prices are really, really bad this year. So not sure what we're going to do, but, you know, just keep moving forward here, I guess. Go ahead, get everything combined, and hope that here in the future, prices, you know, come back up again. But we'll go ahead and get this emptied out. We definitely will not make it back before the combines are full. Honestly, they're probably full already or very, very close to it. So we'll dump this as quickly as we can and try and keep up as best we can, but it's definitely going to be fighting a losing battle on that. All right, we have load number 2 here. Everything's trucking right along, moving very, very quickly. And I'm really, really happy with how things are going. Our yield is obviously staying very high. And we're going to get, honestly, probably 5, maybe 6 truckloads off this field. So yeah, very, very excited for that. All right, we are officially done combining our soybeans. We've got 930,715 liters, And it's almost 1 o'clock. The rain's supposed to be here about 2 o'clock, so we're going to go ahead and get started on our corn, and hopefully we can get that field done that we started chopping in right away before this rain hits. And then when it starts raining, we'll go ahead and sell off all of the cattle we need to get sold off this month, and then wait for the rain to quit and hopefully get finished up sometime late tonight. So it's almost 2:30 in the afternoon and it's raining, so we're going to haul these 33 head of cattle down to the sale barn, get them sold off, and adjust the price accordingly. All right, we're down here at the sale barn, so we'll go ahead and get these 33 head sold off. Okay, and we need to take $54,141 off. So that brings us up to $195,960. Very, very happy with that beef sale there. Got a lot of head sold off here. So we're going to head back to the home place and wait around for this rain to quit so we can finish up our corn harvest. All right, it is now November. We did go ahead and finish up our corn harvest. It was very, very late into the night before we got it done. But we ended up with 1,223,969 liters, which converts over to 34,723 bushels. So we ended up with 930,715 liters of beans, which converts over to 26,403 bushels. Now, this is something we are not going to be selling for quite some time, as commodity prices have absolutely plummeted. We didn't make, and we're not going to make, any stock bales because those are down to $25 a bale. And honestly, fuel would cost more than, fuel and maintenance would cost more than what we're getting out of the bales. So there's no point. I have enough carryover from last year to get us through this next year with our corn stock bales. So there's no point in making any if we can't sell them. Alfalfa has plummeted as well. It is down to $80 a bale, which is a terrible, terrible price. So yet again, that's something we're not going to sell. So at the end of the century, the end of the 90s, the end of the millennium, everything was way, way down. Corn is currently selling at $1.65 a bushel. Beans are currently selling at $4.37 a bushel. And it's hard to make a profit at that. But I do believe I'm going to go ahead and call this an episode, and I'm going to call this a series. So I hope you guys have really enjoyed this series, as I have really, really enjoyed making it. It's been a lot of fun going back in time, looking up prices, looking up kind of the reason and causes of prices. Now, some of them are very, very difficult to find, especially in the early episodes in the early 90s. For whatever reason, seed prices have been almost impossible to track down. Not really sure why they keep those under wraps, but it's been tough. I've gotten most of my information from the Iowa State Extension Office website, and that's kind of what I've gone off of for commodity prices, animal prices, things such as that. But I hope this gave you guys a little insight into kind of what it was like being a farmer in the 90s. The struggles, and also how if you did play your cards right, you could make a crazy, crazy amount of money, and you can maybe understand why we have the mega farmers that we have today. The ones that did play it correctly, did do what they needed to do at the time to absolutely blow up their farms when land prices and machinery prices were honestly significantly lower, almost nothing compared to what they are today. But with that said, I hope you guys really, really enjoyed this series, and I will see you guys in the next one. So please make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode.